Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Look, mile like 3-6 pulled up, ski trip cold winter. All my eating good. I remember when we had no dinner. West side, east side, no side, both sides with me. Check, come and check, leaving flex season 12, come and get me. Gil, the run around, high speed, chasing all the big bags. Bending corners, bending rules, bending necks, Gil, the whiplash. Slide through hot knife, warm butter storm, gutter drain lane. Young man, old habit, still at it, tryna let my chain hang. True story, new story, 2-story, condo, B&B. 4 bath, 1 me, no key, like I did a B&E. B&Me so good, so hood, so not worried about it. 250,000 new views, old news, know you probably heard about it. Extra, extra, read about it. Headline, word around town, flexing. Ballin' on my course, so I ain't worried about nobody out of bounds, stressing. Feeling like Hercules, murder these ain't a problem to me. Tried to tell the maid service don't come unless you bring in condoms to me. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. We gon' come and see about it. Flexing ain't discreet about it. Extra, extra read about it. Say you wanna beef about it. Find out nothing sweet about it. Moving, shaking, coming down, tipping. Stacking, racking, money, power flipping. Moving, shaking, coming down, tipping. Stacking, racking, money, power flipping. Moving, shaking, coming down, tipping. Stacking, racking, money, power flipping. Moving, shaking, coming down, tipping. Stacking, racking, money, power flipping.
All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. Today is Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. It's been a great day. Had some stuff to do yesterday, had some job training to do. So, that always takes precedent. But how y'all doing, man? I hope y'all having a good week. It is hump day. We've made it to the middle of the week, almost Friday, which is such a relief to get over to Friday. At least I know I'm done with some work for the week, right? You're done with work, then you got to do family work. But either way, I'm just glad to be here with y'all, man, on this wonderful Wednesday. Thank y'all for coming through. I know you could be anywhere else, but you're here with me today on the Trigger Mike Show on the greatest network on YouTube, which is the Lapeef Network. Thank y'all for coming through. Salute to all the viewers nationwide and international. All of our people on the West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, Southwest, down South, Midwest. We love you and we thank you for your patronage. International viewers, Canada, UK, Africa, New Zealand, Australia, we also thank you for being with us. We know what time it is where you're at and you with us anyway. So it's not just daytime where, like it is in the States. We got people watching us butt crack early in the morning. Our people in New Zealand, it's already tomorrow for them. It's already tomorrow. They like 16 hours ahead, bro. It's like 4 in the morning over there, and we got people watching. So salute to y'all. Thank y'all for coming through and always showing your support. For those of you that are notorious and do not like to hit that like button, do so right now. Smash that like button. Hit that like button for me right now. Show your support. It's free. And I know you want to support your people, and that's how you can do it. All right. So go ahead and hit that like button right now. Fatty, I see you in the chat. What's up, bro? All right, smash that like button for your boy. We got 33 likes. Let's get them up to 40 right now, and we will continue and do it like that. Also, hit the subscribe button if you have not. If you have not heard, that the Lapeef Network is on its way to 100,000 quality subscribers. We got quality subscribers on this network. Okay, we're not doing all that fake stuff that takes you all the way to a quantity that boosts your ego up. We want quality subscribers. So if you know someone who could benefit from this content, who can get education from it or entertainment from it, we want you to go ahead and share this stream out to them. All right. So they know they can subscribe and share this out to other people so we can hit 100,000 quality subscribers on this network. It is the best network on YouTube. It is I'm sorry, I just got to say it. This is the father. This is the father of many other black YouTubers. I'm not going to lie. Without the Lapeef Network, there would be no Trigger Mike. All right. The first panel I ever joined was Sage Talk. I was just watching it like, wow, who are these people? Oh, I can join too? Let me click that link. All right. So a lot of people that you know and have heard of came through this network one way or another. All right. And show your support for this network and the quality that it has brought you. So share this out. Shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley, as well. Shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley. The link is down in the description, 30% off, plus a free gift. All right, I need to learn how to say that a little more. Let that flow a little better, all right? But yeah, man, if you would like to support the show, you can do so in form of super chat. We always appreciate the super chats, super thanks, or super stickers. You can always send one of those through to show your support. If we are asking questions on the panel, you can also send your answers to those questions, and those will be read aloud. I will be reading super chats aloud and individually. We always appreciate your support in that way. Who do I got in the chat this afternoon? Hot fam, what's going on? My man Paolo, what's up? What's up? Mr. Rich in the building, gonna join, I'm sure, the panel. Mr. He said, how you doing? MS Best, what's up? My man AP, the big homie, what's going on? Kenny, what's up? What's up? Sherelle Lux, what's going on? Quincy, what's going on? Hack Andre, what's up? What's up? Black, what's going on? Kenny, what's up? Marquise, what's up? Edward Gilbert, what's going on? My man Fatty is on the broadcast. I said I'm gonna stop saying in the building. Shelly and Griffiths, what's going on? I appreciate the love, bro. I appreciate the love. Billy 2X Prime, what's going on? Black Thanos, what's up? What's up? We got a topic for you today. Obviously, you have been living under a rock if you don't know what's going on around here with this whole Ebony K Williams bus driver thing going on. You've been living under a rock. I am only going to show the response today. The first interview thing that she had with Iyanla Van Zant was way too long. But you should already be familiar with the story from her interview with Iyanla Van Zant. So this topic is inspired by Ebony K Williams. Miss Ebony K Williams. You inspired this topic today. And what I love most about these situations, is that there's a reckoning happening, not in just the Black community or communita, not just here. There is a reckoning happening around the world where women are going to have to account, not even just take accountability. They're going to have to answer for the things that they say out of their mouths and the meaning that it has. You can't be going around slighting everybody all the time and get away with that. You can't do it. You can't just go around saying things when half your audience is Black. And some of these women are married to Black men and they got Black sons and children. Eventually, somebody's going to call you to the front of the congregation. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Miss Ebony K Williams. This lady had an interview with Iyanla Van Zant, as most of you have already heard. If you get a chance after this stream, go to my channel, youtube.com/@TriggerMikeShow. I broke it down, my synopsis of what I thought about that particular interview. And what I want people to note as well, that lady asked for that interview. Iyanla did something on the Breakfast Club, basically breaking down who Black women have become and how masculine they have become. You all remember that interview as well. That was a huge interview. I encourage you after this show, don't leave my stream, damn it. After this show, go and watch Iyanla Van Zant's Breakfast Club interview. So Ebony K Williams admitted that she was triggered by that. She said, I was a hit dog, I hollered. But you could see, and I don't know if it's just blatant or I'm reading between the lines or whatever, you could easily see that even though she said she was triggered, she did not plan on accepting any of that criticism. She didn't plan on accepting it. It always had to be the man's fault. She was waiting. She called Iyanla Van Zant to the show, which she admitted. She got her producers to schedule her as soon as possible for an interview because basically she didn't want to take any accountability for the masculine nature that's been adopted. I'm not nature anyway. The masculine behavior that's been adopted by too many high achieving or non-high achieving Black women. She wanted to put it off on the men, which she did in her statement, and that's why she got her ass lambasted all over the internet. So now what I got to show you today, and hit that like button. Yes, make sure y'all hit that like button right now. We're going to break down her response. So the hit dog hollered again. She hollered again. She didn't like what the internet was saying, so she decided to bring out another response to her interview with Iyanla, which was not well received, in which she stated that she would not date a bus driver. I am going to break down what I think about that entire thing here shortly, but let's take a look at the video so y'all can get context about what we're talking about today. Stay tuned.
The 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of Black men.
Hey, y'all, let me just ask y'all a question. For those of you that just heard that, do you think she's being sincere? Is that what she was trying to do? Is that what she was trying to do in the last video? I want you to take a detailed account. I want y'all to take a detailed account of what this woman is saying. She is going to be severely disingenuous this entire video. But let's continue.
When I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best.
Whoa! No, you didn't. So, y'all, listen. The same lady that just said she is pouring into black men, she did not go, what do we call it in rap? Bars? She did not complete another 4 bars before she took a shot and tried to disparage black men. First off, let me be very clear. I grew up a C student. C student here. C student here. I grew up a C student. I didn't start getting it together till after college. I had to retake some classes so I can go get my master's degree in something I actually wanted to study. Then I was a 3.5 after that. C student here. Ebony K. C student here. You did not even wait 30 seconds before you went from I'm trying to uplift black men to finding another way to shame. This is a key objective of radical feminism. Women cannot look powerful in any way without making a man look weak and inept. Stupid, if you will. Let's continue.
Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy.
Oh, no, she did not. Oh, Gaslighters are not. Somebody called Gaslighters Anonymous. And we're gonna sign the newest member, Ebony K Williams. Listen, this is what I meant when I said there is a reckoning. There is a reckoning happening in America. This is what they go to in their trick bag when they are wrong and when they are backed up against the wall. She tried to throw it up. She tried to throw it back on black men. It failed. She mentioned the word bigotry. Now she's trying to take it to race. Then she even went as far as to mention white supremacy. She is going to do all of this to try to get the heat off of her. It's not going to work. This is all your screw up, lady. This is crazy. She's trying to pull everything out the trick bag. We've seen this for years. Y'all have cried wolf for far too long. You are wrong. Average being good enough for us, the entire world is average. Mediocrity, all these words you're trying to use, the entire world is average. The middle class is average. These people redefine what it means to be rich if their family is intact. What's going on, Black Beauty? I see you in there. Let's continue.
And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
Say a prayer for Ebony K Williams. If there is one woman on the face of this earth that does not know how to leave well enough alone, we need to put her picture. We need to put her picture up somewhere in a Hall of Fame. Sometimes less is more, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes less is more. When you make a mistake, Don't go try to correct it. Let time pass. Let time pass. That was some bullshit. That was some bullshit I just heard, man. Let's continue. Let's continue. So let me make something very clear because I have a bit of a monologue today. Let me make something very clear. I have no issue with Ebony K Williams or her dating preferences. I have no issue with that. But I've watched and read posts and comments for the last 4 days that talk about a black woman's standards. All of that I can encompass probably around these 4 things. All of the stuff that I've read. So give me a second, ladies. I know y'all are going to be triggered, but let me lay out my synopsis first. I have no issue with her or her dating preferences. But what I've heard from women commenting and people commenting under all of these posts, they're basically saying, why do black women have to struggle? Black women deserve the best. Black men need to step their game up, and the men need to keep up with the women, etc. All circling, all the comments that I've read have circled around that type of rhetoric. Now, the question then becomes, according to who? According to who do you deserve the best? Let's unpack that. Let's unpack that real quick. B-dubs, listen up. I don't care what your standards are. Whatever your standards are should not lead to you tearing down an honest, working black man. We got real criminals out here in the black community. We have real degenerates, real robbers, real burglars, real thieves in the black community. But you want to tear down the character and work ethic of an honest, working black man. I won't allow it. This is not about the bus driver, but y'all made it about the bus driver because that's what y'all do. I don't care what your standards are. You leave the humble people out of it. Y'all are morally corrupt, and it's showing. Women in general have taken that interview completely out of context. I do not expect a woman in the upper class society to date a bus driver. No one does. If you needed to hear a man say it, I just said it. Nobody expects that woman to date a bus driver. If we being real, she just answered the question. She don't want to date anybody or marry anybody in that industry. Did I even go over who this lady was? I know exactly who she is. Nobody expects this lady to marry a bus driver. This lady is an American lawyer, TV and podcast host. She is actually also one of the original Real Housewives of New York. She is probably touched and is currently touching millions. Probably. Nobody expects you to date a bus driver. But what has happened to our society? The bus driver is a placeholder for the average man. That's it. Only 8.1% of black people are school bus drivers, which is crazy because I know a lot of black school bus drivers, but they were usually older. Definitely not young men. I looked it up. Go, Zippia.com. Over 60% of bus drivers are white. 14% are Hispanic or Latino. Only 8.1% are even black. Don't make this about the bus driving profession. The bus driver was a placeholder for the average man. What happened to y'all? Ladies, let me reiterate something to you. I'm going to talk to ladies in general because I need to bring y'all to front of the congregation for some of the comments y'all have made on this topic. What some women have achieved in this society is a direct result of getting what you asked for. Here's something that I don't believe many women understand. We thought you were going to school. We thought you were becoming career driven so you could be a greater asset to us as men and the family in general. That's what we thought. Now we see too many women using their success in life as a dagger to poke and disparage men that actually make less than they do. That is irresponsible. Men don't do that. At least not to women. We might poke fun at each other. Pause. We might make fun of each other for being broke. But men are expected to share, create family, create community with their success. Y'all use your success to poke fun at men that make less and may actually be happy making less, depending on what it means to them. Rich don't mean what y'all think it means. Black women need to take a self-inventory about who y'all really are in this country. Let me break that down, and let me break down what I mean. Shannon Rawls said it on King Talk last night. He said it on King Talk. It was dope. Because one of the things that y'all are doing right now, y'all are feeling yourself for no reason. Let's debunk some myths that got y'all out here tripping on people. It has been said that black women represent the largest number of new business owners. Have you heard that? Have y'all heard that? I've heard it. But just like Shannon Rawls said last night, you may be business owners, but you're not company owners. Anybody can open an LLC. Y'all made TikTok trends and Instagram memes out of opening LLCs. That is how y'all got that stat in the first place. Most of the women that I know care more about letting everyone know they founded an LLC than actually focusing on the functionality and the viability of the business. My goodness. The second they own their LLC, they go around making business cards that say what? Y'all tell me. I don't even want to say it for y'all think I'm hating. I don't even want to say it before y'all think I'm hating. What do they call themselves the second the LLC gets formed? CEO, the real Pookie, right on the nose. Girl, I'm a boss. CEO. Let me tell y'all something. I own a firearms business. And I sell them and I train people on how to use them. I do not put CEO on my business card. My business card, which is digital actually, I don't know who still carries around a full business card. Get you one of them dot cards. As a matter of fact, let me go in here and get a sponsorship from dot cards. My business card has my full name. And my title says founder/lead instructor. That's it. I don't want to be the CEO of a 2-person company. I got my buddy that teaches the rifle class for me. My token white guy. that I use to get venues in case I feel like they're going to trip on black people. That's the only person I employ. I'm not about to put I'm the CEO of a 2-person company. How foolish would I look when I know real CEOs in real life? Let's debunk some other myths, man. My man Pookie said that's the other one that most people put. Owner operator. That's acceptable as well. Much says founder, lead instructor. The hell I look like putting that I'm a CEO of a 2-person company. Golly. Y'all do everything for show. Listen, while y'all out here saying that you're a boss, my man Machine 2 said, I'm a boss with no payroll. While y'all are out here saying I'm a boss, let's get some real stats down. How about we put some real stats down? Because all of you think you're Ebony K Williams. You're not. It's not to disparage you, but let's get realistic about where we are in the black community. Let's get realistic. Black women spend the most money in the entire United States of America, despite earning second to least. The second poorest group of people in the United States of America are black women. Only Hispanic women make less, if you want to call it that, because most of them are married. You are the number one enrolled in school, which we thought was supposed to be a good thing. But throughout the 10 years plus that y'all have been the number one enrolled, you have not moved or closed the wage gap 1 red cent. What does that tell you? That's because y'all have the lowest representation of STEM degrees. The black women that are represented in STEM at a large number are African women. And because you got all of these degrees and enrolled in school, you owe the most in student loans despite not working in your chosen field 5 years after graduation. Most of you don't. That's an actual stat. A large percentage of women with liberal arts degrees do not work in their chosen field 5 years after they've graduated. Not only do you spend the most money, you are number one in consumer debt. You are also number one in student loan debt. But your standards are high. For what? Let me tell y'all something real. This is what I will tell any woman, whether she was in my family or not. If you think that all of this is just supposed to go to the wayside, after everything I just said, marrying you to most men like me, men that got their shit together, is a liability. Number one most evicted, terrible money management. Where do these standards come from? Let me drop this link. I'm almost done with this monologue. And let me go to the Ebony K Williams thing in the bus driver. Let me go back. Let me back it up real quick. Pause. Let me talk about this bus driver thing for a second. Because I don't want to, as I said, that woman is an upper class woman, I guess we can say. So we need to get realistic about the dating and marital prospects of women who are career driven, high productivity, high yield. Let's talk about them for a second. So we're talking about Ebony K Williams now. Everything she has accomplished in life, bravo. All right? You know how we get down in my culture. Our women are actually the most educated and actually the most amount of doctors, actually the most amount of STEM degrees. So not only do I applaud it in my house, I require it. Congrats to you for all you have accomplished. No shade. No shade. But when it comes to your dating and marital prospects, let's be real. Let's be real, Ebony K. There needs to be a reality. We need to talk about the reality behind dating for women in the upper class. If you did all of this to get yourself to ascend to that level, we need to talk about what's real for you, since you think it works the same way it works for a man. It does not. Ladies, I need to tell you something. There is no romantic benefit to being an upper class, career driven woman. If you think there is a benefit, a romantic benefit to being Ebony K Williams, explain it to me in the chat or come on up and explain it to me, because the link is dropped. There is no romantic benefit to being an upper class, career driven woman. I do believe upper class women should marry upper class men. Here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. This is why your daddy is important. Your daddy's supposed to fix you up with that dude. He been talking to that dude's father. He knows where he's going. He knows what school he going to. His parents set him up for success, and he trying to pass you over like, hey, this is a good match for you. This man will sustain the lifestyle and the legacy, but that's not what y'all want, is it? Y'all want to make the decision for yourself. This is how the world works. Upper class people need to marry upper class people. Middle class people need to marry middle class people, so on and so forth. I'm not here saying Ebony K Williams needs to marry a bus driver. That's not the way that shit's supposed to work. But you must also observe reality, ladies. Ebony K Williams is projecting onto us her bad decision making. The one thing that women like her don't say is that they are upset they waited too long. There's no benefit in waiting too long. As you can clearly see, she implemented a failing strategy. Do all the work first, then circle back and try to get a quality man. As I said in my synopsis on my channel, as I said there, the men at that level, high caliber, career driven, high productivity, high yield men don't want Ebony K Williams. She works too goddamn much. They want a woman they're going to see sometimes. That woman, as you can clearly see from the Ayanla interview and this bullshit interview she gave in this picture up here, she's disagreeable. She already hates black men. Ebony K Williams hates black men. Clearly, we only have 5 minutes of video, and I can tell you with almost absolute certainty, she hates black men. Why the hell would I want to marry her? I would pick that up in 3 dates asking the right questions. That is the life of most black women. She already admitted she didn't have her father in her life. And somebody said it on the panel the other day, I believe it was King Spark. If she don't love and respect her daddy, she's not going to respect you. She hates black men because of what someone else did to her in her past. Next. That's why you almost 40 and you alone. Despite all you've achieved, you got money, you got riches, you got fame, notoriety, you got everything and nothing at the same time. Everything and nothing at the same time. Do y'all see how this works? Can y'all read the writing on the wall now? This woman got everything and nothing. because she didn't prioritize the right stuff. She didn't prioritize it at the right time. Now she's projecting her hurt feelings on us because of her failed strategy. This ain't about no high-class woman and no bus driver. This is about women and their mistakes. Leave the men out of it. The Black American man, or any man really, in America, is the richest Black man on earth. There are billions of women that are literally prepared to almost die to get over here, to date and or marry us. The hell's wrong with y'all? That bus driver can go find him a woman who will lick the sweat off of his tummy after he gets off work simply because she loves a man that does an honest day's work. Y'all are wilding. Putting a man down just because you made it to the upper class of society. That's great for you. There's no romantic benefit in that. The hell are you talking about? You waited years too late. Ladies, I don't even think she has any children. Not to say that she wants any. But to the ladies that are wondering why, if we're talking about a bus driver, we're not. If you're wondering if that's what we're talking about. So the question on the table is, are her standards too high? Sure. Your standards are too high. I'll go ahead and say it to you. Your standards are too high. In fact, nobody should bother you about your high standards and expectations. But men do not have to meet them shits at all. They are unrealistic. That's why so many women are single. You missed out on the chance to build with the man. My wife has been with me consistently from when I was a $55K per year earner. My Houston job offer that moved me from Virginia to here was $55K. I say that with all pride in my voice because look at me now. Fuck wrong with y'all? Fuck wrong with y'all? 10 short years. Look at me now. How the hell do you think a finished product gonna be waiting for you at the finish line? A smarter woman done took me already. Smart women. What do we call them? Ride or dies. The ride or dies done took the men already. If they are calling y'all leftover women, then all you qualify for is leftover men. That's all you qualify for. If they are calling you leftover women, then what the hell makes you think you about to get the cream of the crop? All you qualify for is leftover men. The smart women showed up. They brought us lunch. They swallowed. They did whatever it took to put them on our radar. I'm trying to be wifey before 30. What you need from me, Chief, I will do it. I'm trying to get that ring. They played the game. Oh, man, I got to make this last point before I bring up my man, John the Baptist. Fact, John the Baptist, go ahead. Come on, Karen, real quick. The link is in the description. I got to make this point real quick. Damn, I forgot what I was going to say. I'll just bring my man, John the Baptist up. What's going on, bro?
What's going on with your trigger, man? How you doing today?
Man, I'm chilling, bro. Just snapping on them real quick because this is a hot topic. What you got on the opening thoughts?
The women's price, that woman's price is it too high? Is the asking price too high? I'm gonna say no. the prices are not too high. When
Mhm.
when there's a rare commodity and you put it on the market determines how much it's worth. She feels that what she puts on the market, she feels that she's a high value, that she deserves a lot. She deserves somebody who's not a bus driver. You know, I don't believe this. Let me stop.
I was like, where are you going with this?
Nah, man. What I want to say is just for real though. I know y'all get on me for being a Bible thumping. I get it. That's who I am. Y'all not gonna rock with me. That's just who I am though. But man, y'all did this to yourself because we fight for the very things you fight for are the very things that come back and bite you in the butt later. You gave away everything that God gave you to help you win in this situation. You've been doing it ever since the garden. And so now that you try to carry fire into your bosom and your bosom getting burnt up, now you want to blame the very thing that you helped get into power. You would never see this. You would never see this. Never, because somehow cancer seems to spread. But very seldom in the past do you see Eastern cultures have these situations. And we have to get past the point where where you're complaining about the very thing that you empowered. I'm not okay. So if you want to promote education, okay, promote education. You want to make sure your women go to school, get masters and doctorates. Go ahead, promote all that stuff. But don't say that we didn't understand that y'all were going to use this against us. When the women were fighting for equal rights in America, they were not fighting to be on your side anymore. They were fighting to get over you. The problem is you lack foresight to see how he was fighting to get the power over you. You thought they were going to help you in schools. No. Anytime somebody starts fighting against you, it's not to work with you. Because up until that time, most men had worked to take care of their families. Why would a woman now work against her husband when he's been working to work for her and with her? What they were trying to do then was change the power dynamic, and we gave them the power and tools to do it. So I'm not gonna. Y'all should not cry now that you promoted and supported the very thing that's now biting you in the butt. If you would have done what God told you to do, as He instructed us in the garden, we wouldn't have these situations. But ever since the garden, we've been fighting this issue. Now I'll land my plane now.
Indeed. Mr. Rich, opening thoughts, sir.
Hey, good afternoon, Trigger Mike and gentlemen on the panel. Listen, I don't know. First of all, I don't have any problem with her having her standards as high as she does. And the reason why is that the only problem she has is her calculus is wrong. And a lot of women in her position, their calculus is wrong.
Mhm.
Because what she doesn't understand in this strive to be like men, to achieve, high achieving, make a lot of money, they're just finding out something that we've always realized as men, that there's not a lot of pickings above a successful man, right? It's like a 5%er.
Yep.
So she expects her hypergamy, right, to be able to choose some vast amount of men who are making 100,000, 500,000 or more. It's a silly calculus. It's not a lot of men, no matter what race, like that, right? So men have routinely married down, so to speak. That's what we do. We don't put an emphasis on how much money a woman makes to marry them. There's other things that we look for. And now she forgot about that. So she spent all her 20s, all her 30s achieving, riding the car carousel. And at 40 years old, now she's thinking, I'm going to just look up and some Prince Charming is going to come and wife me up. Now, if she found a 42-year-old man, 45-year-old man who's rich, she forgot that he's not going to take her bullshit. If you're looking up to me, even if you have all that money, Ebony K, I'm not going to just take whatever you say. If you want to be my wife, you're going to shut your ass up and listen to me. She's not going to want to do that, right? That's why so many of these highfalutin women marry down, because now they're understanding. You want to be a man? This is a man's life. We marry somebody who's underneath us, but not for the same reasons. Women still look at money as the yardstick, and men keep telling them that's not the yardstick we measure finding a wife by, right? But she's still trying to find a husband that way. So there's other things, but she priced herself out the market. And then let me just finish it. And the fact that she's disparaging all middle class working men is it's a fatal blow. There's no way she could talk about getting her way out of that. She sounds like a stuck up twig, and she's gonna get what she deserves, by the way. So I hope she, like I said, I hope she invested in a lot of stock in PetSmart and cat food and shit like that, because she's gonna be eating a whole lot of it, or at least feeding her cats a whole lot of that shit. Oh, by the way, Mike, let me end it here. She is looking to become a baby mama. She's looking for somebody. Yeah, she said that in January. She put out an article thinking that she was contemplating being a baby mama.
Of course. That shouldn't surprise anybody. All right, my man BMU. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, man. Let me go ahead and go back to what she said. She said, first of all, she introduced herself. I'm coming in hot. She said she's a whore because she says, Ayanla, if you look across the broad stroke of things, I've had them all. I've been with them all. So that lets me know that you've given that vagina to 7 different cultures of people, and none of them are showing up for you, and you're not with any of them. The second thing is, she says, Ayanla asked her a question and say, would you date a bus driver? She said, if he owns the bus. Well, my question would be for her, if I were there, well, he has to own the bus, but you don't own the grill. The Allen Group owns the grill. Do you own your own lawyer practice? Do you own your own law office? No, you work for somebody. You work for the government, or you work for the city or the state. So you mean to tell me you want an entrepreneur who owns a bus, and you come to work every day for the Allen Group and sit behind that desk, and you work for somebody, but he can't work for somebody? So my thing is, I think what's happening here, she's about to be 40 years old. She already know that she's hit the wall. She'll have plenty of money. She'll get plenty of penis, but she will never have a husband. And I agree with Mr. Payne. I think she should invest in Purina, dog chow. Because what's going to happen is she's going to need that shit. She's going to need bags of it, gallons of it. She's going to need to get, she might as well buy a hamster. She can open up her own little zoo with the money she's making, because no man's going to put up with her. Because if you watch that entire interview with Ayanla, she says she's controlling. The man has to do what she says. He has to be on her level. They have to be partners and equal to each other. So she's looking for a beta male. So if she ever does get married, she'll marry somebody that's a beta. So I'll land my plane there.
Indeed, I agree. I mean,
educated, educated, well-paid whore.
Yep. And here's the crazy thing about it. She hasn't said it, but press her too hard, because I had to go look up one thing. I put in Ebony K Williams boyfriends, and of course she was, because I was trying to figure out how the hell she got on the Real Housewives of New York, and she used to be engaged to a white man. Now I want you to understand something about these ladies who are high achieving. A lot of them go that route because if you are interfacing at any high corporate level, there are a lot of white men there. All right. There's not as many black men there, depending on the field, like finance and all that type of stuff. There are a lot of white men there. And the one thing these men never do is end up marrying these women that they're engaged to, because you can behave any way. That what we call them, chameleons. You can behave any way, pretty, prissy, but when it's time to have the real discussion about how you're going to behave as a wife, most of these dudes end up not taking the plunge with the woman. Ashton, what's going on, man?
Trying to get like you, big dog.
All right, what you got on the topic? Opening thoughts.
You said a couple of episodes ago you trying to get out the Matrix. You promise? You meant that?
I didn't say that. I don't know who else said it.
You did say that. You said we keep it real over here. It's time to get out the Matrix. I'll
right.
just check your temperature. But I mean, I think women's standards are too high. I mean, if you would have to talk about what's your standards if you could already get that. You wouldn't be talking about your standards. So I'm gonna just leave it at there for now. I mean,
All right. No doubt. We appreciate it. Let me get these super chats read. My man John the Baptist set $5 says, I will pray for men who promote the foundation of this mindset of women, and I pray for the women as well. Listen, John the Baptist, we're gonna have a hard time proving you wrong, bro. We're gonna have a hard time proving you wrong. Nino Brown says, the greatest show on Lapeef. Appreciate the support. $5. Real Pookie says, but a bus driver expects to date Ebony and Ebony K. I hear this a lot. I'm gonna say that's not true. They don't expect, like, they really don't expect that, bro. They be in the club, they be in the happy hour, they be all in these places getting what they can get. I'm sorry. That's a YouTube talking point. Men of mediocre circumstances marry the women and get with the women they can get that's available to them. John the Baptist, $5. Mike, stop the cap. John the Baptist, $10. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Mr. Rich, $5. She wants to be a single mother now, as he explained. Ooh, $50. Sponsor of the show, C. Nelson. We appreciate that. Speak the brother. I started at the bottom, and now I'm a lead supervisor at a federal government agency at 36 years old. We're the same age. Women want the victory without putting in and enduring hardship with a man. Success doesn't happen without suffering. We got a question on that coming up later. We appreciate you. So currently the sponsor of the show is C. Nelson. Who's going to top it? We got one hell of a topic today. We appreciate everybody for coming through. Appreciate your support. That link is dropped in the chat if you want to come up and add to it. All right. So our next question is, this is speaking of what Mr. Rich was talking about. And Mr. Rich, I want you to go first on this. Should high achieving women consider marrying down? In fact, I'm going to go first on it.
Go ahead.
You have no choice. As Mr. Rich stated, you have no choice. If you don't prioritize, listen, let's also be very clear. A lot of the women that are married, that are doctors, surgeons, internists, anesthesiologists, college professors, all of these women that you see, either American or from different cultures, married men at the appropriate time. Let me get in now. It does not matter if I can't see the vision of how I'm supposed to do all of this stuff. I will make it work. I will endure through it. I will make sacrifices. I will let him go first. I'll take a year off to raise the kid. I will do whatever is necessary to make sure I do not ruin the picture I have for my life. When a woman has a high achieving, high yield, high productivity man, that's how she got with them. If you want it original, if you want the original, you can possibly get one once he's divorced, once or twice. But we all know that's not what you want. You want the original. You want to be the original. You want to be the first. That's how you get that. Many of y'all have already skipped and already missed that opportunity, unfortunately. So if we're looking at a high achieving woman who is 35 years or older that wants to be married, there's a 99.9% chance you will have to marry a man that makes less. All of the men that make what you make are already married. 80% of Fortune 500 CEOs are married. Those men structure their lives in a particular way for image, for legacy, for child rearing, for everything. They think 5 steps ahead of everybody else. And what is also important to note, they don't want your ass. This is why celebrity marriages don't work. I don't like to go there. How can two people working the same amount ever work on their relationship? A man will have an issue if his wife decides to pawn off their children to an au pair. he will have an issue with that. So yes, if you are a high achieving woman, you have to consider not getting married at all, or you must consider marrying down to a man of, let's say, equal work ethic. Let's put it that way. You're not supposed to marry a bum. If you're in the top 5%, go down to the top 10 and see if you get a man there. Then go down to the top 20 and start from there. But as long as a man has the same work ethic, and this is the last thing, and I'll land the plane, you must respect him as a man either way, no matter what he makes, because a man is not simply what he brings home. My mic is muted. Go ahead, Mr. Payne.
Yeah, so again, these women have been trained, and I don't call it a black women thing, but if you look at women in the hypergamy across the board, she's measuring the worth of a man just like so many women do based on how much money he makes. Yeah. It's a fundamental error with all of these women. And so I hate to just, it's easy to just like slap her on the face and stuff like that, but a lot of women are like that. Black women just tend to take shit like this to the extreme. It's like, as intelligent as she is, and as much penile instruments as she has played with, it's like she didn't learn anything about men. Right. And it's ridiculous. So, yeah, and I hate the term marry down. Right. You just got to marry within what's available. And he's still, is she telling us the only criteria for a man is how much money he makes? What about his problem solving? What about his protection? Well, let's take what's the chick's name who retired her husband? That guy.
Tabitha Brown.
Right. Okay. Look at Tabitha Brown. Even though he built with her, that guy is a handsome dude. He's in shape. He's dedicated to a profession. He looks like he's a disciplined kind of man. Or is she telling me that kind of guy like him is not good enough for her solely because he's a police officer or a medium income earning, a middle class earning guy? He couldn't make her happy, and so that's what she's saying. So he epitomizes the middle of the road guy. Maybe he's in even better shape. And she's saying she'd reject him solely on the fact that he doesn't have any money, the kind of money that she wants. Because what she's thinking is that her millions are just for her to play with. They're not, her millions are not supposed to be used for provision in a household. Mm-hmm. She just wants to frolic with her millions and let this other guy, who's a millionaire, take care of all the bills so she can, I don't know, put Mary Kay on every day or some shit like that. She sounds like an educated idiot. So let me just land it there. It's really, I'm not really that mad at her as a person, but it's a mentality that's pervasive. And when they see successful women act and say some stupid shit like she's saying, it just doesn't bode well for any of us. Let me land it there.
All right, I changed the question because people are saying that it's pretty negative. You're right. Marrying down is a terrible term. We use it a lot. It's a kind of a general term, but it's actually very derogatory. So y'all right. So
it ain't negative though, Mike.
Should high achieving women consider marrying average men? We're going to do that since we're talking about the average man. Black Man Unfiltered, you got the floor.
Ask the question one more time, because I just ask it one more time.
Black, let me get him. Let me get him.
Should high achieving women consider marrying average men?
Absolutely. The clock is ticking. Especially if you want children. All of these women, just think about it, guys. All the women who are talking like this are past the age that they can even be healthy enough to carry a child. This woman is 40 years old. Are you going to play around for another 5 years, 10 years, and be 50 like this? You're talking as if time. Have you found the lake of youth? Have you swam in it? Because in 10 years, honey, you're going to be 50 years old. And then what? Then now you're going to be looking for the average guy because you don't want to be alone. You're going to look for the average guy because that vagina does not have the same value it had when you were 30. You're 39 now and nobody wants you. You said you've dated all nationality of men and none of them kept you. You're acting like you got rid of them, but I'm guaranteeing you in some of those cases, those men walked away from you because of what you said in the interview in its entirety. You said that you're very controlling, You said that you admitted that you are a masculine woman, that you need to be the head of everything that you do. You need to make all the decisions. So these men, I guarantee you, walked away from you. And so now you're 39 and you're still talking the same thing you were talking at 29. You've wasted 10 years of your life already. Are you going to waste another 10 when you're 50, half a century old, and still looking? You're going to be like Diane Carroll, that you were cute in your 20s and 30s and 40s, start wrinkling up at 50, start to die at 60, 65 and on. Your bones start going out. You get arthritis at 70, die by yourself with the nurse and the doctor at 80. That's what we're planning on doing?
Mhm.
These women are out of line. They're out of line, and they need to stop listening to the women who have expired. And I land my plane there.
Damn. Expired with authority. Women do age like milk. That's what they say. Ashton, what you got?
Hold on, goddamn. Wait. And I want to say this. A lot of people are saying, well, the money, but her money. Yes, there are 2 or 3 Kmarts still open in the United States of America. They're still making money, but their value ain't worth the shit.
I didn't know there were still Kmarts either.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 of them left, brother. 2 or 3.
Yeah, there's like one Blockbuster too. We see how well that went. All right, Ashton, go ahead.
Let King Spark go. I can't go after that high sermon. That was a good one. I gotta.
All right, no doubt. John the Baptist, you ready?
That's funny.
I'm doing some closeout stuff right now. I'll let y'all go ahead. Right? I'm doing some closeout.
Come on, guys.
I'll come back
Somebody
in
go,
about 2
guys.
minutes.
All right, go ahead, King Spark.
Man, can y'all hear me pretty well?
Yeah, you'll go
Y'all
next.
can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Man, I think I think hypothetically, man, you would want them to consider it, but honestly, I don't feel like women are mature enough to do it. Not without respecting that man the way he needs to be respected. And the main problem is just lifestyle. If you coming from this one lifestyle where you Michelin restaurants and you have a certain palate, to get with an average achieving man, that's gonna put a lot of pressure on that man to try to make it feel like he's still in the same area with his wife. It's gonna be too much pressure. It's gonna be a lack of respect, to be honest, right? Those are the things that's gonna happen. So I'm saying, if you a high achieving woman, you just be single. You'll be all right.
So
That's all I got.
let me
Go
make
ahead.
a statement about what I said about work ethic, because the interesting thing in my family, I told y'all the story already about how my aunt went to medical school, and it was her husband that financed everything while she was doing that 4 years in medical school. She did like 6 years actually, leading up to some of her coursework, some of her transfer credits from Nigeria passed over. So she just went to school solely, didn't work at all. And they had 3 children and 1 on the way by the time she was getting ready to get out of medical school. He was a cab driver, and he did that so he could work at any time. Anytime. He could go work night, he could work the day, he could stay out 24 hours if he wanted to. He did that for a reason. Do you think she became a doctor and left the cab driver? No. The funniest thing is that we make men out to be money in this society, but his work ethic is the one thing that was his value to her. Because the one thing that's missing from every family that we're all trying to achieve is money. Let me tell you something. I cannot touch millions and not affect my entire family. That's what everybody's trying to get, to create a better life for everyone. It doesn't matter who touches the money. And if we really want to be serious about it, if y'all want to take it back to the days of old, grandma is the one who kept a lot of money or saved money. And grandpa had that work ethic, and he worked. And when it was time to buy the house, I've heard this story like 1,000 times. Grandma saved. She just saved the money from her little maid job, from her little laundry job, while he kept everything moving. This is how families work together. Y'all think men are strictly money, and that's why we keep failing and having to learn the same lesson over and over again. The first person that touches money is supposed to be the golden goose. Now we got it. Now we can make our life from here, no matter who gets the money. A man naturally does that for his family. Why should we expect any different from a high-achieving woman? Camille, sorry to take up your time. Go ahead, speak on this. Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show.
Yes, thank you for letting us in. Yeah, so I wanted to have a bit to say about this question. You said that, you know, if women should, high achieving women should marry average men.
Yep.
So yeah, of course, I would say yes, because they don't have much choice if they want just the top men. But the problem is that the way if a woman becomes high achieving in her career, she has to use a lot of masculine energy to become that. For example, there's, I think, 5 to 10% CEOs women, the rest maybe 90% are men. So they have to compete a lot and compete with a lot of men. So they have to use a lot of masculine energy. I think that's the main problem. So they're quite masculine because they had to use that. Maybe it was natural for them, and they got to the top. So now the problem is, how do they tone down that masculine energy? If they want to date average men, the average men might be more feminine, and that could work at the beginning, maybe after a few years, but eventually we know it doesn't work very well if a woman is masculine and the man is feminine by nature. You know, you want a masculine man. So for these high achieving women, it's just very hard because they have that masculine energy because they achieved a lot. I guess I would like to ask you guys, what would you advise women? You know, because everyone says they should date average men, but how would they do that? How would they, you know, go back to the feminine energy? Maybe they would need to quit their career and become wives and slowly develop their feminine energy back. What would you suggest to do?
Well, can I say something real quick?
Just suggestion on that right there, Frank.
Yeah, because if you go back and watch the entirety of that interview with Ayamla, she says that when they first opened the interview, she said, "Hi, Ayamla, you used to be a lawyer just like me." And she said, becoming a lawyer, men say that we're masculine. And Ayamla responded by saying, yes, and that's why I quit, because that career makes you masculine. It makes you a man. And she said, so I quit that career. She said, that's why I left being a lawyer, because it made me superiorly masculine toward my daughter. She went on to say, it made me a horrible mother, but it made me a powerful father.
Can I ask you something? So would you say for high achieving women, do they say it for a man and quit after they find a man? Or should they quit before, which is risky?
Well,
but
let me jump in.
Y'all keep playing with fire.
Hold on, John. We know your position on this. They don't supposed to work at all. I got it. But there's a
but what happens when they already done that and they realize maybe
there's
it was
a difference
mistake?
here. So I will say this, because John, this is the reality of the situation. We understand we've already played with fire, but we here at this point in society now. Women work. The issue here, and yes, that can come back to bite men in the butt, as you've said. The issue is women need to become realistic about where their femininity has been lost. Because just as many ethnic women come into this country, they realize their first job is wife, their second job is mother, and their third job is what they do for a living. If you are willing to compartmentalize whatever you do like that, you will succeed. There was a nurse, Indian woman, that we had at our facility. During her interview for assistant DON or whatever she was doing, she said, I can only accept this job if I am home by 3. Oh, well, why do you need to be home by 3? We close at 5. I cook dinner every night for my family. That is non-negotiable. She was maintaining her duty because she understood her first job and her second job. And that showed to me that was what she considered tertiary in order. If women can do that, they would be fine. If they're willing to live by those principles. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. So just quickly, I know there's a lot of things you can advise women what to do, but my thing is like, what do you advise to that woman that's already achieved everything and she's in her career? You wouldn't advise her just to quit her job and try search for a man, would you? How do you transition smartly to find a man? You know?
I'm definitely not on the quit your job side. I'm not on the side that a woman should have to give that up. But this is also, it's also very easy to understand, because me being a masculine, this is my nature. And this is actually a problem with women. It isn't necessarily that the job makes you masculine. They just don't know how to do it gracefully. If you are a woman that leads, women want to. They give into the urge to want to lead in a masculine way. That's why they struggle with leadership. If you're trying to lead in an authoritative way with an authoritative tone, you suck as a leader. Almost all women suck leading that way. If you are a woman that can lead gracefully, you do not lose your femininity in the way that they describe. So I would say a woman needs to learn to be feminine in exactly what she is doing. That is how she gets taken seriously. That's one of the reasons women have so much trouble in leadership, because they're trying to be men. That's another reason why they quit, because people don't respond to them the way they're supposed to. But go ahead.
Whose turn is it now?
Go ahead, John.
So it's not that y'all already got, it's not that y'all carrying fire and got burned already. No, we're not. I wasn't even about to say that. What I'm saying is, if you listen to y'all talk in this conversation right now, we're not even changing the lingo how we discussing this situation. We keep saying high achieving women. We keep saying terms like she's marrying down. No, the thing is, we're not even changing our psychology in the middle of the fight. In this situation, she's not a high achieving woman. She is a woman that is failing because she has missed the mark of what she's supposed to be doing. And we keep describing it, the psychology. We can't even change our mind to recognize that we're talking to a woman that is failing. We keep calling her high achieving. How are we gonna change this problem when we don't want to address the problem? Don't nobody care about your career. That's not gonna make you successful to me to be my wife.
Can we touch on something as well? There's something King
You
Spark
muted,
mentioned before about so to date average man, they need to lower the lifestyle now, right? So imagine if you earn loads of money and you're dating an average man, there's gonna be huge difference in the lifestyle. So
that actually makes no sense. Men take care of, first off, we're not asking a woman to date or marry a lowly man. So women need to understand that men take care of themselves, period.
But for example, if you want to go holiday, do you pay for the man now?
Well, no, this is an important discussion to have. If a woman actually makes more, okay, let me ask you this. When a man who traditionally make more in the marriage, when a man makes more, is it his money or is it the family's money?
Families.
So when a woman makes more money than her man, what should her money become?
Families, but women will find it very hard to see it like that. At least in the beginning, it's
not mature enough to take that position, man.
There's no point marrying then.
They're not mature enough to do that.
Well, you're making the point, right? They should not be married if they don't consider it that way.
But what I'm saying, yeah, within the marriage, but let's say early dating stage, you're just getting to know each other, so you're not gonna start off paying.
You should. That's all you talk about is your job.
So would you say a woman now starts dating and pays for every restaurant they go to?
So if you're
niggas don't even like going out.
Yeah, if you're talking about dating, whatever lifestyle, yeah, exactly. Whatever lifestyle that she's maintaining for her, hold on. Ashton, goddamn. Whatever lifestyle she's maintaining for herself, she should not expect if she's dating an average man. So as far as that is concerned, that is a major, that's a major, we got to break that down a little more. If a man cannot provide that for you, you should be willing to do that for yourself, right? Because if you're trying to get dates, do not equal love. It doesn't equal companionship. It doesn't equal anything. If that's what you're trying to get from a man, which is procreation, then a date doesn't mean anything. But this is slowly but surely showing that all women really care about is lifestyle, if that's the number one thing they want to maintain.
I just seen a lot of I watch a lot of relationship shows, and I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm not high earning woman, but I'm trying to be realistic from what I can imagine and see and how I feel as a woman. Because I can remember what I thought of men when I was 18 and what I think now. So it's when we're speaking about high earning, high value woman, are we saying she's earning like 100K or more a year? How much would you say? Is it 200?
Well, we don't care about that.
No, but I just want to paint a picture.
Yeah, let's do that. Just 100K a year, simple.
100K a year, okay. And the man,
like 9% of American women make that, so we'll use that. That's a good enough.
100K, okay. And the man, would you say he's earning 40? An average man, 30?
I wouldn't advise it. What? Sure, 45. The average man makes 45. Let's say 45.
Right. Okay. So I guess if someone makes double, that's not that huge of a difference. I was imagining if someone makes like 3-4 times more.
That would be upper class, and she needs to date an upper class man.
Right. Okay. I mean, I guess that could work if someone's earning twice more. They can still find.
But that upper class man still might not make as much as her either. So listen, she might be upper class, but she's in a class where we're talking about maybe 5% of people.
No, 1%.
1%.
We go over 400,000. That's 1%.
So this is the point, sister. Is this? You know, you can achieve a lot of money as a woman, right? And I don't think I'm gonna sit here and tell you shouldn't achieve the goals that you want. There's consequences to the decisions we make in life, right? So that's the point. You got to understand the trade-offs you make in life that count, right? So if you're going to wait till you're 40 years old and you're a 1% woman, to think that there's going to be a plethora of men that can cleave to you is a ridiculous standard. It's like you don't live on this earth. It's like you're just so educated beyond your intelligence level that because you listen to these talk shows and sitting around those idiots on The Real Housewife of New York has really tarnished her thought process.
Yeah.
Right? There's only a few men out there. Let me give you an example. Eve, for example, she used to be a rapper. She married this guy who was a billionaire. We haven't heard from her. You know why? Because he ain't going to let her put her titties out on the street. How about Janet Jackson? She was gone for 10 years. This is Janet Jackson. She married this guy, and she went under his cover, and she was almost disappeared until she vested in 10 years, divorced him, and took some money and took his kid. So listen, all I'm just trying to say is, you know, women have to understand, if you want to be a man and play in that playground, you got to understand how men operate. You can't be the fairy tale woman and have a penis at the same time. You know, that's just bottom line. So
look at it this way, right? Look at it this way. Oh, Trigger Mike, you about to say something?
No.
Oh shit.
Look at it this way. Women have come to tell themselves this, that they can get married at any age. That's what they've come to. That is what they've come. Huh?
I said, which is false.
Which is false. They've come to say this, that they can get married at any age, and they believe that men will have to deal with that. But they forgot that men will never change. 5,000 years ago and 2023, men are still the same. Men don't really change. We're comfortable where we are, but we introduce civilization to make life easy for our women. Then secondly, one thing that we have to come to also realize is this. Women believe that if she make 150,000, a man has to make 150,000 or more. But I got to tell you, at $100,000, right, a woman and a man and 2 kids will live comfortably.
Yeah.
they will live comfortably only if she is going to take her income and make it zero, stay home and raise the kids. And don't worry about her lifestyle because most women work for lifestyle. They work because they want to afford something. They work because they believe that they can be better than Keisha. They compete amongst themselves. They're not doing it for the family. They're doing it because they want to outdo the other girl. So at $75,000 a year, every woman will live comfortably with her husband. At 95,000, she will be very, very fine. At 100,000 or more, she will be very, very fine.
Can I ask everyone a question? If you want, have any of you currently or did in the past date a woman or been with a woman that earns twice more than?
Can you repeat the
No.
question, please?
You're
Yup.
cutting out.
Yep.
Yes. So oh, is that yes?
What
Someone
was the
did.
question
That
first?
was a whole yes. Is have you ever been with a woman that makes more than you? So let me
Yes.
actually
Twice
tell
or at least.
let me actually tell
I
this
have.
is actually a good teachable
Can
moment
we share
for the chat.
experience and stuff?
So let me just say this in when women marry their a man in their social age group, like a college educated man or a labor, like blue collar man, business owner, anything like that, because y'all are so close in age, you will actually teeter totter back and forth on who makes more money. Over time, a woman should never expect to make more money than her man. She will quit, she'll change jobs more. All of that eventually leads to him making more over the entire span of y'all relationship. But it actually goes back and forth as to who makes more money at any given time. That's really just the way it works. All the way up into his 40s, that's when men financially peak and eventually overtake pretty much all women in their class group. But that's what that's what an actual marriage looks like. Unless you're married to a woman that has a fixed salary and doesn't reach for anything higher, I literally have put my wife in position to make more money than me before I started my own business. Literally said, she's like, should I take the job? What the hell do you mean? Should you take the job? Yes. I put her in position, wrote her resume, wrote all that, did all that type of stuff to put her in position because
I
that's
mean,
our money. You see what I'm saying? But go ahead.
would you not say that's easier to do when you're younger, but when you're past 30s, 40s, it's it's a bit different.
Of course, everything becomes more difficult if you wait. Absolutely.
But it's also on mindset too, as well, though. It's also on mindset. Like, if you got a good man, when I say a good man, a man that has that good work ethic, just like Trigger Mike was saying, and he finds a woman that in her feminine energy understands the level of flow he's in. That's a perfect team. But if you have a woman that is out of order, she want to get and do what she want to do. She wants to make the bread. She wants to. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's the yin and yang flow. So like take me for example. At one point in time, my wife, in the beginning portions of our marriage, and I've been married almost 20 years. My wife made more than me. Okay, and then over time within the marriage, I made more than her. And she looks at me one day and we had a conversation. She said, "You know what? I have mad respect for you for what you do, your leadership as being not only my husband, but also our, our, our children our father to our children, excuse me. Because she didn't want that load. She didn't want that workload. Women never want that workload. But it's funny how society goes off and fix it and promote it where women need to have that workload. You strong, you're independent. You can do it. You can do what anything a man can do. That's not true. That's not true.
So you're saying that pressure is for shoulders, not for hips, as the old men used to say.
That's always been the case. That's always been the case. And matter of fact, speaking on that, look at, like, not to go way over there, but like even in, like, maybe like a lesbian relationship, it's a real complicated situation because you have two women that may want to be feminine, but then all of a sudden somebody got to be masculine, somebody got to lead, and it's real difficult in situations like that because they both have the same mindset. They both want to go off and be cuddle when they go through a low point in life. They both want to have the experience of carrying the child. Then it's real complicated. So like we have roles for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with going off and flowing in your role. And there's nothing wrong also in staying in your economic level. So, like, for example, if you're a middle class man, I'm not gonna go up and try to go reach for the skies and go up and try to marry no highballing female. No. Why? That's too much complications. I'm gonna have to go off and train her and try to kind of timber down some. And that might not work. So, just stay in your lane.
All right, let's get Grant in there. Some people haven't spoken yet. I'm gonna bring up. I got Labani in the back, so let them two go ahead and answer the question, and then, or if any opening thoughts that you do have, and then we'll continue from there. Go ahead, Grant.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I want to just sort of one of the things I think is unfortunate in the case of this young lady, Ebony, sort of having her point. I do think that people tend to stay within their strata, the economic strata, and I don't think anyone should delude themselves in believing that that's any different. I do think that she was ineloquent, and I think her subsequent backpedaling was even more inarticulate, which is unfortunate for someone who's a lawyer. You would think she would have thought of a better way to express herself.
Good point.
And I think that's the problem. I think getting mad about someone who potentially is in the 1% of earners, the reality is, if she plays her life out and at the end it doesn't work out the way she had hoped, then she will get the answer to her test, correct?
Yep.
I don't spend a lot of time wondering whether or not her particular desires are have to be aligned with mine. I think she'll find out at the end, correct? And if it works out for her and she finds the man that meets those criteria, great. If she doesn't, I can tell you my life won't be changed by her decisions. And so I think she needs to it would be better for her to recalibrate her concepts of what it means to engage with another person versus sort of offhandedly saying that she wouldn't be with a person. But again, I don't falter for her decisions. I also would just, to the young lady, Camille, who was speaking earlier, I do have one sort of comment or critique regarding sort of the notion of femininity. I don't think that women lose their femininity if we were sort of scoring this when they run a company. And I think that's a poor way of thinking about it. I'm actually here in Krakow, Poland right now, and they have high levels of women in leadership. And I can tell you some of the most pleasant women I've met in my lifetime. I don't think those things are mutually exclusive, that you have to sort of be a high achiever and lose the notion of being an affectionate person or being someone who has some soft skills. I think is whether or not the kind of culture that we are sort of aligning ourselves with here in back in the United States. I think we just need to rethink how we sort of categorize ourselves as we become more successful versus assuming that success leads to a break in sort of femininity.
Mm-hmm. I second that, because I mean, I will tell you, somebody's breaking up there. I will tell you, not only do I know many women in leadership, I'm in healthcare and medical education primarily. All my colleagues are women, like 99% of the women People I work with are women, so plenty of women in leadership. That's why I said they make a choice, especially in America, to indulge in masculine behavior. It's exciting for them. It's almost like that demonic spirit where it's saying, don't touch it. You're listening to one conscience and the other conscience, and they always go the route of trying to behave in a manly fashion. It is 100% a choice. And
What
remember,
jobs? So guys, you said there's a lot of feminine women. What jobs? In what jobs did you find those like feminine women? I'm just curious.
at the vice president level of a corporate company, the
Right.
women are still feminine.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's
across
the type of
it's
woman I'm
across the
referring
board.
to.
Yeah,
Right.
it's across the board.
Director, corporate director, vice president, all feminine women. I work with only women, but mind you.
I mean, that's interesting fact because I don't have life experience in that, and obviously you both said you met them, so I can't really argue with that with life experience. Just from what I'm really into psychology and relationships, and from what I learned and seen, but that's not me speaking from my experience. So it's an interesting thought that you did both mention that there's a lot of feminine women. Obviously I'm trying to think from experience, maybe women managers that I met compared to men, but I don't know. I just seen, well, especially on TV, you do see a lot of masculine women at the top. Maybe that's what the TV presents, because I don't see a lot of feminine women anywhere online, I would say.
I would say, Camille, I would just caution the notion of sort of we all have our anecdotal, and so yes, you can score my comments as being anecdotal, but I would point out. Oh, go ahead.
No. I'm taking it in, like what you said about the feminine and stuff, and I'm trying to obviously think more about that. So I'm not taking it as anecdotal, but I'm just trying to think which one I believe more. Yeah.
No, yeah. So I was going to point out just people. I'm assuming you're in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, you have countries that are your neighbors or near you, correct? Who to do it? I mean, you can hop over to any of the Nordic countries, Iceland, and you can see these things play out relatively easily.
I would say speaking more on UK and America, the West, not on other countries, because obviously, like you said, Poland, my country, they're quite different in a lot of things. But
we're not as different. I would caution us on thinking that we are that different from these countries. I think we do have some real problems, but if you imagine there's a point in which these countries may have looked similar to us and they've somehow.
I mean, I lived in both for a while. Well, back home in Lithuania, I lived for 18 years. Here, I've been 10 years. So that's from what I've seen.
All right. Anybody else wanted to answer this particular question before we move on?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right.
The topic is pretty much, should women pretty much settle? What can you hear me first?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, the answer is pretty much we all settle. You know, for the most part, we always don't get exactly what we want, but for some reason, I guess the women like Ebony, they want to hold on to that vision and fantasy of the I don't know, whatever visual man of their dreams, that things that once they cross that finish line, that he's going to come. One of the biggest lies I was ever told was, once you get this degree, bachelor's degree or whatever, that all these jobs will start pouring in. That's not the truth. You have the opportunity to be able to apply for those jobs, but at the same time, there's other requirements and demands that some of these employers would want. And at the same time, a lot of these degrees that you will go is attached with debt. So at the same time, you'll be trying to get this high-paying job, and at the same time pay off this debt without going under. But at the same time, the reason why we have women like Ebony is because it's our fault. It's our fault. It's the men's fault. We didn't hold the line. We had power. We built this country, and then now we're allowing a lot of the women to come and take over and acquire the power, and then now we can't get it back. So now that you have women like Ebony in her 40s, she's okay looking, but at the same time, it's like, how long do you want to stay in the race before you pick something and get out of it, and you pick something and you get out? When you're buying a car, you're buying a home. Everybody, I mean, depending on who you are, but the average person, or at least the American dream, you want the 3-2 white picket fence. But let's say if you settled for that, but then the market crashes and now you could have got a mansion for almost the same price. That's just the luck of the draw. But what you don't want to do is keep waiting, and then you miss the dip, and you missed what the prices were, and now everything's through the roof, and then you're thinking that everything is going to come back around like the housing market in 2008. And then when it doesn't come around, now 10 years done passed, 15 years done passed, 20 years done passed, and now you're still waiting. So a lot of these women, they're waiting to almost expiration date, and now they're expecting that the men are still going to look at them like they were 20 years ago when they were, in their prime and in their beauty. But one question that I do have for some of these women is, since they don't want to settle for the average blue collar bus driver guy, I was just trying to see that since they're not selling for them, are they encountering a lot of these millionaire men or these boss business owner mogul guys that are they encountering them, or they're just hoping and waiting and praying that eventually he's going to eventually come around?
No,
Now, she's encountering him. He's just smashing her, though.
Yeah, but what's the likelihood of them actually being able to smash a lot of these millionaire, high value, multi-hundred-thousandaire guys? Now we know that they are smashing the guy, but I'm pretty sure, but there's only like 5-10% of those guys. So a lot of these women they're not coming across of these guys at least to have sex with.
No, what I heard is that a lot of these top men, if they're around them, they do take them on dates, because men do, those rotations you do and things like that. So one man can date many women just to sleep with them. So they are getting a lot of attention if they're in that circle, even from high value men. And that's why they think they'll be able to, marry them or date full time and get relationship.
Yeah.
But they get that confused.
So
And
when we talk about it's weird, especially in this like hip hop culture type thing. So women are gauging their marital prospects off of the men they're able to have sex with, because what really happens is when you get that bag as a dude, this is why so many men are actually choosing to stay single. You never have had a bevy of women open up to say, oh, I can get women like for free. They're going to do everything. They're not going to require marriage. They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to require a ring. They're not going to do anything. So I'm just going to stay out here while the getting is good. And that once a man has done that to that woman and slept with her, she now thinks that's the caliber of man she qualifies for. And if you have a man who was once, like, what do they say? Money doesn't unlame a lame. So you had a dude that used to be lame. He got money now. So he hits all of them. He doesn't even up the caliber of woman. He hits bad chicks. He hits fat chicks. He hits all of these different women. Now they all think they qualify for a dude that makes that salary, has that type of house, that type of condo, that type of car. And that's what they're putting it all up against. But we got to also understand that it's a sliding scale. So we know some women are never seeing the millionaire dude. They're never even seeing 100,000 there. What they talk about, that dude is just a dude with the really good paying job, has a car, has stuff in his own name, like that. Because when we really look at it, men are actually more responsible spenders. Like they own all the consumer debt. So it's really easy for a dude to look squared away in a woman's eyes. I remember being that guy. Just because I had a nice apartment and a nice complex and I drove a nice CLK 430 Mercedes, I was that dude. I was only making 55K. You see what I'm saying? I was only making 55K, but I was that guy. You see? So yeah, to some woman, that is that dude. So it's a bit of a sliding scale there, but go ahead. Y'all jump in.
All right, 2 more points. So I'll go to my last point. So to the men of today trying to date modern women, my question is to you is, how long do you have to keep playing with the snake before you accept that it's venomous?
You want me to answer? Let me take a stab at that. First, you got to establish what your intention is, right? If your intention is to find a bride, that should eliminate most of the chicks right off the bat. With the first conversation, by the way. You have to establish what your standards are for what you want to court and who you want to vet. And I tell you, that'll eliminate so much bullshit if you just do that. And a lot of men don't do that. They just go out there. If I get somebody to talk to me, maybe I'll try her. If I get this one to talk to me, maybe I'll try. No. When I was looking for my wife, and that's what I was actively looking for a bride. I ignored. Women didn't throw themselves at me, but I was okay. But I ignored a lot of women because I knew I was going to go anywhere with them. So you got to establish what your parameters are as a man first. What are you looking for? And are you ready to have a bride in your life? Right? You got to answer these questions before you even go down that path. This is what I'm saying. I mean, people might have different things. So sometimes you might have to give up just getting a quick smash to keep your head clear. And so once you do that, remember when you played that game? Did you see the green car? And then all of a sudden you see green cars everywhere. When you start looking for what you want, all of a sudden, now you're focusing on what you want. And then you can start eliminating the riffraff just by the way you move. That's how I believe that. So that's what you need to try to at least establish. Now, the fact that the West have poisoned the well so bad, it's slim pickings. But don't get fooled by this horse shit that we're doing on the internet and on YouTube. There's still good women out there. Even in the West, no matter what anybody says, there's still good women out there. You just got to search harder. Now, you say you're a passport bro. That's great too. Right? So I don't say confine your pool to just America. If you want to go somewhere else, that's fine. And don't let nobody shame you out of that shit. So I'll just land it there. But I guess you got my point.
But what I say is the juice even worth the squeeze anymore?
Yeah.
Because
okay. It depends on. I can answer that if that's a question. I can answer that. It depends on what generation you are. If you're younger, I don't think it is. I think if you're older,
I'm in Mike's age.
In Mike's age, what about like?
I'm 37.
Okay. So what I would say is when you're talking about a relationship or even a marriage or something within that potential, I think the answer isn't like, are these women quote unquote worth the time to put in the effort? I think that I think it's within my belief and understanding that your wife is someone you've already met and probably known for years. And I think that I think the best person for any man to really marry is someone who he's probably known for years, and a woman's probably known him for years. And now either you maybe disconnected, fell off, maybe you were in a relationship, maybe you had an opportunity to have a relationship, but you didn't. It didn't happen. I see some, because from what I'm seeing is, I would say the chances of a happy ending of me going out into the world and meeting a new woman and then vetting, I think the chances are high that's going to end up in disaster. Go the other way. I look at my Facebook friends. I start talking to this girl I used to be friends with in high school that we grew up together. That we have a base for a friendship that can go back, that can span decades. And I think those relationships are worth not only rekindling, but I think they're going to be the more long-term investments because they know you, you know them, you've known each other for generations. You can always play catch up, and you never had a bad taste in your mouth about this person, and vice versa.
But what about as far as, so pretty much you're saying to accept being a stepfather?
What do you mean?
No.
No. I mean, let's say, because I am a father. So let's just say the person that
I'm not a father. I'm not a father.
No, I got you. So, but just my experience first. So, and then to the person who doesn't have a kid, right? So, I would rather, if you're single and you don't have any kids, to get with someone who doesn't have any kids, because you can't be a stepfather. You know how to be a father. Me being a father, I have no issues playing a stepfather role with someone who's already had kids. I've already been there, done that. Mine's about to graduate. So I actually do want more kids personally. Other people in my position, maybe not. So I would say play the game according to who you are in your role. I'm a father already. So I'm walking into every relationship from that perspective. I am a father. And also I've been a husband. I've been divorced, of course, but guess what? I know what the role is, the do's and don'ts, where the booby traps are. I know how to play that game too. So I have a 2-up than most people, most other men in my peer group who've either dodged it or got it, screwed up and got it wrong or something. You know what I mean? I have more of awareness now.
All right. Who else hasn't gotten in there?
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, y'all. This is Coco. It's been a minute, but I had my baby girl. So,
Congrats.
And I'm exclusively breastfeeding, so I don't want to flag the channel. I mean, she's currently feeding right now.
That won't flag the channel. That won't flag the channel.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But I do want to answer. So if you hear certain noises, you just know it's a little person. But should high achieving women consider marrying average men? And when we say average men, we're mainly just talking about salary, but absolutely, and of course, because a measure of a man is not in how much he makes. It is, and I don't know if y'all went further into Iyanla and how she spoke about what we should value in men, but what she did say was very profound in terms of what is his integrity. Does he enjoy what he does? Is he somebody who who treats you well, who is good to his family, who's good in his community? Those are the things that we should consider instead of a look or an aesthetic. And I think that's what Ebony was speaking to, because she did make mention, this is not exclusive to Black men. This is her issue of not finding suitable partners, as she says, because she has dated all different types of men and all, in the higher echelon. I knew she dated a Jewish man and all these other types of things. And she still is not married nor has children. And I think what Iyanla was getting at is that, your accomplishments you're coming with a masculine energy when we, particularly Black women, have been programmed to lead into that and to feed into that, and that is not what we should. That has been working against us. So absolutely, high achieving women should consider dating a man of quality, because the things high earning men typically want more traditional women, and I think that's what she was missing in whoever she was dating, thinking that because you are both earn the same means anything to the man.
Yep.
I think that's that in the perfect world or idea, yes, that would work. But from being the inside looking out, this is not normally what they choose, because you see, women are being able to get a lot of these higher paying jobs, and they're displaying on what they want, of what they prefer, and what they will not waiver off of. So I think that's
women earning higher paying jobs has always been a thing, at least the past 10 or so years. What has changed is with social media is now you think because what you see other people have, you assume their life and how easy and how beautiful it is. Now you're bringing it to your social circle when before you were content because your social circle was limited to the 5 or 10 people that you knew around you. Now you're looking at people who are living other lives that are nowhere in parallel to yours, nowhere doing the same things, and you're comparing yourself to people that you don't know just because of what you see. And that's what's messing up women. It's not that women haven't had high-paying jobs; they have been. I think with the advent of social media, and even has made it intensify more of the thinking of I want to live this lifestyle rather than I want to build relationships. I want to be in sync with having deep connections with people instead of just focusing on the superficial. And what I will say is, I think for my personal experience, the women that I know it takes a while to crack this programming. We shouldn't expect it to have overnight, but when people, particularly when I had my daughter, a lot of younger women who were singers like, you know what? I realized that the clock is ticking because I had my daughter at 40. There's no more children for me, thank God. But when they see me and my daughter, and then I express how I just love being here with my child, I'm not rushing to go back to work anytime soon. Actually, I really don't want to. And then it stirs up something that maternal instinct in women to be like, you know what? Yeah, I like these trips and all, but it doesn't have the same fulfilling as a family, as being a mother, as raising a child, as seeing the connection, seeing everything that goes with it. So I think that yes, on a superficial level, it's nice to say that, oh yeah, but women want something different. No, women still fundamentally want the thing. We have just been programmed to think that the lifestyle is more important than relationships. And I think slowly, particularly if women who have these established relationships talk to other women and let them know, like, this is not the most important thing. Looks are not the most important thing. How much you make is not the most important thing. It helps kind of, equalize or neutralize some of the programming and the propaganda that's out there. But it will take time.
But most of those women seem to not realize that in their pecking years, in their 20s and 30s, that for some reason, while they still get an exorbitant amount of attention, they seem to not accept that. They only accept that when they get closer to 40s and menopause and stuff like that.
Hey, question for you, Passport. This is Grant.
Yeah.
When you look back at your 20s, so let's say we can divide the room today. I think Trigger Mike is married, Payne, a couple other, I think entered Black Dragon, maybe some others. Would you say that they were just lucky to meet their wives, or would you say that you were just that potentially you missed out on an opportunity to meet someone at your younger years to get married? And what do you think was the cause of that? So if one cohort ended up finding the women who don't fit within the archetype of women, who are, I'm assuming they're women, they wouldn't consider them, women who they're good women, correct? What do you think caused potentially you not to sort of find the similar caliber of women that these gentlemen were I'm assuming were able to find?
Is this question to somebody specific?
Hold on,
it was to Mr. Charles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, okay, the perfect question. I like it. Back in my 20s, I didn't have to really compete with the internet, so I was able to find more suitable women, somewhat suitable women. But at the same time, I didn't have my finances together to be able to provide like I would want to. I can only do what I can afford. Now, to the other guys that were able to find a wife to live life with, they didn't have to compete with the internet. Now, then and now, it's like night and day. Where I would have like a couple of prospects that I'll be evaluating, and I'm like, okay, she has no kids, mid-20s. I'm thinking that, okay, we're both on the same playing field, but for some reason they want to keep holding or fielding offers and options. And I'm not going to allow a woman to, like, if I'm interested, either you can give me the opportunity and we could try to see if we're on the same playing field to start a relationship, or if you want to still play the field, you can't do both. You can't put me on standby and then still field out for offers. No, either you can give me the chance or you can play the field. That's why I'm finding more of women wanting men like me to compete. I done separated myself from the average lifestyle where now I'm a 6-figure earner, and now I'm still in this dating market. It's looking at, since I'm 37 now, there's not really a lot of childless women, and maybe I might be a little jaded or whatever, but speaking to a woman who has a child, and normally it's the same storyline of, he's not crap. One thing led to another, or he's not around, blah, 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 blah. And, it's just my patience level just is very, very thin to really care too much, because they're expecting guys of my caliber to do more than the guy that they gave their womb to. And I just can't see myself taking her serious where she wants me to do more than the guy that did less. And then, even the woman, Ebony Williams, or whatever her name is, seeing that how she kind of dated outside of a race, like Jewish, white guy, whatever, like that, to me, that's like really a turnoff. So hearing that's already like a red flag, and I'm pretty much going to cut it right there. So I probably done met at least maybe one, maybe two women that I probably should have settled down with back in my days. But I was playing the field. I was like playing Pokemon, trying to catch them all. So one or two of them fell to the wayside, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
So would you say that now that you're older, similar to, I think, what we say about women, as you get older, your options become more filtered down, given that a cohort of women are taken out of the pool? And would you recommend that young guys begin to think through their decisions earlier in order to maybe avoid that sort of reduction of options or opportunities?
Well, what I went through in the late 2000, early 2000s. What I went through the early 2000s and mid 2000s, you probably won't really ever see that again, because I was making maybe like 20, 30,000, and I still had a good handful of women, stuff like that. But these days, I mean, with Instagram and all these social media platforms, I mean, it's harder because like everything is more transactional on every scope. Everything is you want my number, Cash App. You want to talk to me, Cash App. You want to take me out, Cash App, then pay for the date. So it's just kind of dealing with that, and at the same time taking a step back, looking at the game tape and trying to see what I did wrong back in the past, and not trying to move forward and making those same kind of errors again.
Hey, Trigger Mike, I have something that I have to post to you right now. You might want to look at it and comment about it. I'm posting it right now on the chat. I think I'm gonna have to post
the private, or Mr. Ikene, the private or the public chat. Where are you posting it?
Oh, I think if I have to post it on the private chat, that means I have to go away from this chat room. Let me see if I can do that on the private chat. Let me. Can you drop the link one more time, Trigger Mike? Or EBD. One of you can drop the link so that way I can.
Hang on.
Okay. I have something.
Yeah, they posted it. They posted the link.
Okay. Let me try to see if I can do it on the other way. If you can drop one more, if you can put one person in background, or maybe if you can put me in the background so I can come up on the other way to put it on the chat. Let me try.
You need
Real
to put
quick,
it in the chat,
as
like in
you're
the
but
YouTube chat or
I
the
don't
back
know
chat on
if people
StreamYard.
heard about
I'm gonna put. Okay, I'm putting it on the back chat right now.
All right.
Okay, sent.
Hey, we got a couple of celebrities there, right? We got Chicago Rilla and
Yeah,
Chaos.
what's up, Rilla? He been waiting patiently. What's going on, my dog?
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
okay.
It's on the private chat right now. If you can look at it.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
just think,
crazy.
I just think like in modern dating, dating modern women and trying to vet them to become a wife. I understand what you're saying as far as I think I got to echo. I think I got to. Okay, okay, there it goes. That's better. A little bit. Is there some? Okay,
It's
hello.
Ike. You got to close whatever window you got. You got.
Oh, he's got two windows open with the link. Okay, okay, I got it. Okay. Anyway, what I was saying was in competition with the internet, right? I think it's yes and no, right? I don't think it's the quote unquote internet. The internet's just evolved. It's gotten faster. It's gotten bigger. It's gotten wider. I think what we're talking about is like social media, like Instagram specifically, because of the attention, right? So as far as a relationship is supposed to typically work, I think the golden rule is if you're not dealing with a significant other or spouse, if you're not seeing one person, then you're kind of dealing with everybody. You're dealing with any woman that's in your universe, right? I'm not talking about everyone on the planet because you're not that kind of guy. But certainly the women that you see and interact with and maybe think about maybe even hooking up with, or, maybe even something long-term or something that you consider, right? Because that's just something that a single man is going to think about when he goes about the day moving across the world. Hey, that girl looks nice. I'll probably take her on a date, maybe her, maybe not. So when we talk about social media, what we're talking about is the necessity that women have for attention from men. And that comes in the forms of likes, right? And that comes in the forms of notifications. So what happens is they get a rush every time they see a notification that they're getting a new like on a new picture or latest picture that they posted. And this is the kind of like happiness drug that they kind of feed off of. So when the question is asked, when they get into a relationship, are they able to then turn off the feeling and say, okay, are you willing to trade one like from the guy, this guy that can just, tick every box, versus all the likes from every other guy who likes your ass pic or who likes this other pic? Are you willing to trade one for the other? And the problem that we seem to be dealing with, that you seem to kind of point out, is that they want both. They want to be able to have the guy that has all their attention, that pays attention to them, that spoils them and take them wherever. And then they want the thousands of likes from the other men too. And so what we're talking about is a lack of commitment. But it ain't from men, because men, if they needed to, could turn off social media tomorrow and just be with their woman, and then that's about it. Because we like to deal with one woman instead of dealing with thousands of them. We would rather ignore the attention of thousands of them, because that's a lot of headache that we don't need to deal with anyway, right? We just got to deal with the one. So if we're not dealing with the one, we're dealing with pretty much a lot of them in your universe. So, you want someone that can be able to trade one like and then surrender the thousands of likes that they may potentially get. They have to be willing to kick the drug, because that's what it is. That's what we're talking about, drug addiction.
Listen, I'll do you one better, EBD. Get a woman that does not do anything on social media at all. There is a trend among wives, and I want y'all to watch me and listen to me very closely. I've done it because I do this show. I do a lot of research. I went on about 10 of my frat brothers' pages that are married. I went on my friends' pages that are married, and the wives, if they have an Instagram. They're the type of women that have very little followers, and they follow more people. You see what I'm saying? Probably just to go up and down their timeline. They are not active on social media at all. The wives of the world, it is actually going to be put into a character. We could put a character profile on a woman by how active she is on social media. I'm saying that now. You should be able to say, this woman spends too much time looking for attention from other men. How could she ever stay faithful and focused on one relationship? We can say that now. But let me get these super chats read. I see you in the back, John the Baptist. I'm going to bring you up. Then I'm going to let my man Chaotic get the next question. Space is $10. There is a common denominator in her dating history. Plus, side, she still looks good at her age. She does. And men are always looking for a fine woman, but there's no reason a man would choose a 40-year-old over a 25. And that attitude that we've seen in those two videos, I don't know what man wants that. That shit is not sexy anymore at my age. Advanced perception, $5. She's the type of woman that cheers for the toxic husbands and wives in Tyler Perry movies. Tyler Perry does show how hard average men have to work. Chad Poole, $2. Household income is better than individual income. That is very profound, my man. Thank you. My man, Ricky Williams, $5. From my guy, Trigger Mike. Peace to the chat. And my bro, Black Man Unfiltered, off to the gym. We appreciate you, Ricky. Thank you for the support. My man, EBD. Did you just, are you spending your whole money? Did you just have a few jobs before you hit the show today? Appreciate that, bro. Sorry I've been MIA. Spent some time with that 21-year-old who has been wearing me out. What? 8 times in the last 36 hours. Trying to rehydrate. Are you trolling? On subject, no amount of money a woman can can replace a good man. 8 times. Look, what kind of supplements you on, bro? 8 times. Y'all be on some different stuff, man. Listen, you've heard me say it on this show. Every dude thinks he wants a girl that can smash a lot until you get a woman that wants to smash a lot. 8 times, I'd have been like, get off of me. It's raw down there.
So,
damn, 8 times.
Ooh, man.
That's like 1.5 times every.
Go on with the super chats. I'll explain later.
All right. Advanced perception, $2. I don't care what your salary is. Respect me. That's what I'm talking about. John the Baptist, $2. Words matter. Stop empowering. I think he said women. Empower men. I think that's what he meant. Cliff Williams, foreign currency, $2.20. What's with the locks?
It's the ugly stage. I'm about to get it done.
My man. Me University, $2. Foxy Life. But they forgot she said, let high value men play. I don't know what she meant by that. All right. Thank y'all. If y'all are just tuning in, welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the greatest network on YouTube, the Lapeef Network. We got an all-star panel here answering the question today. Are her standards too high? We are referring to those interviews given by Ebony K Williams. And we thank y'all for being here. Get those likes up right now. We need those likes all the way up past 200. We got 311 people watching, only 172 likes. Get those likes up right now. The like is free. Kayada, we're going to start with you on the next question. You can answer the question or just state anything in general that you would like to contribute to the conversation. So, why do average women have such unrealistic expectations? You got the floor, sir. I'm going to the back.
Salute to you guys that are on the panel. I have to blame you guys, not particularly you guys on the panel, but the American man. The American man has become a simp. I don't know when it started. I have my theories on how it started. But one thing I can say is the culture of simping and not having standards as men. Let me tell you guys a story. It happened to me, unfortunately. Many years ago, I dated a girl. Believe it or not, she was the same age as me. We were both 31. One day, out of the blue, like most dating relationships, and I'm pretty sure every man knows about this, she looked at me and said, "Do you think I'm happy?" Now, mind you, she's 31 years old. She's hit the wall. She doesn't look as pretty as a 21-year-old girl working at Chick-fil-A behind the register. Me, being the person that I am, I looked her dead in her eye and said, "You are not pretty enough. You are not thin enough. You are not young enough to nag me with a question like that. If you were 21 and you look like Naomi Campbell from the 90s, yes, you could ask me that question. But you've gotten away with this with so many guys in the past that you feel comfortable to ask me that because you're depressed. She suffered from depression like most modern women do now. I said, you're suffering from depression. So you get mad if the goddamn sun is in the east. Is it in the east or the west? I can't remember. So I looked at her and I just flat out told her. I told her everything except about the sun thing. I said that you are not pretty enough, young enough, hot enough to ask me no shit like that. Of course, she started crying. She told me that I didn't have everything together. You know where this woman is at right now, guys? Still single. She's a cat lady now. And what I did is what so many men refuse to do. You have to tell these average women to their faces that they're average. My God. Don't call them queens. Sister. I hear this dumb shit with sister all the damn time. You are encouraging bad behavior. Enter Black Dragon. Passport Pro.
High achieving.
Tell me if you guys haven't seen this in your own lives. To everybody on the panel. You got girls who are 5'1", 5'1", looking down upon men. I was at the bar one time. Now, this was like 15 or 16 years ago. This big, fat, overweight girl, she probably weighed at least $190. We're out. I'm chilling. She looks at me, probably, I don't know, maybe she thought I was a simp or corny. I don't know, maybe because I'm shorter than everybody. She said, "Oh, you ain't gonna buy me no drink?" I said, "No, of course not. You're overweight. You don't get a free drink. You're not that hot enough." And this was 15 years ago. I was 24 at the time.
Wow.
Of course. And mind you, she was still young, but I said, you are not that pretty enough and thin enough to ask me no shit like that. You're doing that because you think that I'm a simp. And this was way before that whole we even heard of the word simp. And so what I keep telling men is, you don't be an asshole. Just be truthful with people, not just women, but with people. And that, I'm telling you, your life will be so much stress-free when you tell a MFer the truth. Man or female, your boss, whoever, your parents, tell people the truth. And you ain't got to be an asshole with it. Hey, man, am I annoying you right now? Yeah, motherfucker, you're annoying me right now. Yeah. There's nothing, no, I have no problem with you just annoying me to death. Yeah, you got to start telling the truth. And I'm telling you, you will break free of this simping culture that permeates through American society. Black men, white men, simping. The only man I see in this country that doesn't simp are Arabs. They don't simp. But everybody I see are simping. And that's why these women, 5'2", attitudes. I need a man. I knew a girl in college. The girl was about 5'1", 5'2". She was real short. Talking about, oh, I need me how many times have you heard this? I need me a dude who's 6 foot and over and who smell good. A lot of these niggas be stinking. I'm looking at her like, bitch. And I mind you, I heard her. She was with her friends talking from across the cafeteria. I'm like, I want to go over there so bad and just tell her, chick, you are a fucking midget. You will be lucky. You will be lucky to get an average dude at your height. And you're not that attractive.
Chaotic. You know why that is like that? Do you know why short women 5 foot are gonna say that I want a 6 foot man? Because 6 foot men are saying that I want a 5 foot woman.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But then they forgot that almost 30% of the, almost 20% of the women in America are 5'1" and below. And only about 6% of the men or 4% of the men are 6 foot and above. So it's not enough number. Yep. So the problem with women that I got to tell you is this: they have two problems. One problem is that they have math problem. Math problem is a truth problem, so they don't like the truth. Then the other problem with women is this. When men like us speak and tell women what they want and insist on what they should have because that's what they qualify for, you have a man that will go right behind you and tell her, don't listen to that guy. Don't listen to that guy.
That's right.
I got you. You see what I'm saying? There's always that man, because if you look around the society, the most two horniest group or demography or group on earth are the two baddest group that have the worst women. That's black men, black people, and white people.
Yep.
Black people simp a lot, white people simp a lot. That's why the both group have the most effed up women. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, because
chaotic in your life, don't ever pop your lip when you say simp like that again, bro. Don't pop that P like that, man. Don't pop that P like that, man. Hey, listen, I need y'all to define simp for me. Y'all have wrecked this word. I understand if you say sucker or something like that. I understand that part. You guys have destroyed what a simp actually is, right? And it moves the goalpost to where you get people misusing the word. So let me set a baseline. And if you disagree, then I'll just ask you to add on to the definition so we can get a simple baseline. When you say a person or a man is a simp, that's the individual who will leverage his resources. He will leverage whatever he has in his cachet to get favoritism and curry favor from a woman who he otherwise would not qualify for on his own merits. Do we agree or disagree?
There are more to that. There are more to that. And nothing that you got to add to that is simp is somebody that actually leverage his resource like you. Let me laugh.
So wait, wait, let me ask you this. When you add to it, what are you basing that on?
Okay, let me add to it based on the definition.
But based on right. Based on whose definition? This is what I'm saying.
If you let me talk, I will land.
Bro, I've been quiet in the background for a minute. Go ahead.
But you ask question and then you won't let me answer the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the dictionary definition of that online dictionary definition is a man that does something for a woman financially or otherwise without getting anything in return, without getting any sexual favor in return by the same woman. But in some cases as well, the man might end up marrying the woman knowing fully well that she has been messed up, that she is totally traumatized based on her experience or whatever she had done in the past that no any other man will give her a chance for. But he will give her the chance and pester her and put her on a pedestal. You see what I'm saying, right? That is a simp. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what Chicago really majority of his point, and Mr. Ikene. Yeah, Ikene. Yeah, what's your last point? But yeah, I'll add on to it with a simp is pretty much what Chicago really said, and that has no backbone and willing to accept, or like Mike said, submit and have no standards.
Can I say something real quick, like 2 minutes? No, I mean, not even 2 minutes. To whoever this person in the chat, name 10 books, sir. Bruce Lee was 5'6". He weighed 140 pounds. Most men over 6 foot would curb stomp him, even if they're untrained in fighting. All they got to do is grab the little motherfucker. Stop. He would have gotten curb stomped by somebody who was 6'2". All you gotta do is grab him. What are you talking about?
Yeah, let me add to that definition. Well, not add to the definition. First of all, let me just agree with what both Sugar Mike posted and then what Chicago Willa said. And let me co-sign what Mr. Ikene said, because I think that when we say the word simp, I think it applies in different contexts. I think that it applies context when you're talking about a female who has put a man in the friend zone. I think that person's a simp. I think that when Mr. Ikene was right, that a man who is grown maybe to acquisition or wealth was desperate for this woman's attention. She has had all the men that she's ever wanted and is a leftover woman and no one wants her. And he decides to pick up that leftover woman and marry her. And even though it's a one-way provision, right? She's not into the man that she's about to marry. She's marrying this man for his resources only and does not love this man. That man is a simp. So there are different, there's a simp, but that simp goes into different contexts of your life. I mean, you think about it when you were a little boy, there was a girl you liked that you didn't tell, you never told her you liked her. Maybe you tried to get her a card for Valentine's Day or something. Maybe you were 5, maybe you were 6, maybe you were 8, but you were a simp too. There was a woman that you wanted to vie your affection for that just didn't pay any attention to you. So most men have actually gone through this mostly through their childhood in one fashion or another. I mean, if you're the type of guy who just got every girl you wanted, you're not gonna know what we're talking about. But the nerd, everybody else ain't you,
Yeah, but
this is why I was trying to establish a baseline though, because let me ask you this: have the definition of a pimp, has that changed?
No.
Has the definition of a thug, has that changed?
No.
Has the definition of a gangster changed? These are all street terms. You guys are taking street terms and then configuring them to whatever fits your narrative. A simp is a simp. Like what I said was not incorrect. I get what brother Enike, I get what he was adding on, but that's still based on the premise of a woman. A dude who acquires resources, you could be a simp whether you working at Foot Locker or Wall Street.
Correct.
Right? But
Correct.
the same
we agree.
that tells us, wait, listen, hold on. Because no, you said you disagree. But hold on. Because this is the same culture that tells you it ain't tricking if you got it. When it's tricking because you got it. Okay? So this is why I'm saying, as men, when we gather around the table and we having a conversation, I just want to establish a simple baseline because I hear this word getting tossed around, and from where I'm from, that's not how y'all define it. We might say that's a sucker, but I wouldn't call him a simp. You might call him a trick, but I wouldn't call him a simp. And we use things too loosely to where anybody could come in there. If you say something nice to him, oh, he a simp. If you agree with him, oh, he a simp. Everybody's a simp nowadays. So that's all I was saying, gentlemen. It's cool. We can move the conversation forward.
Okay. Let me put it this way. I think the problem is people are mistaken or misconcepting simp and beta. Two different things. Two different terminology. A simp and a beta is not the same. A beta is somebody that will do anything for sex. And once he's gotten it, he's going to dump her. He doesn't keep her. A beta will not keep a woman because he knows what he wants. All he wants is just in between her two legs. He's going to spend that money. He's going to take care of her just to get it. But a simp is somebody that keeps her. Two different.
I think you mixed their points up.
I want to say this. Anybody I'm not big on these alpha, beta terms, whatever. I know we use them in society, but we got to remember that these terms are derived because it's how men compete against each other. It has nothing to do about women at all. So if a man is an alpha man, it's how he moves around other men. If a beta's a beta, it's because most time betas follow alphas. So these letters these Greek letters that we use to determine about society is about men. It has nothing to do about women at all.
And simp is like pornography. We know it when we see it. Let's move.
That's true. That is true. That is true. We know it when we see it.
But I think everyone.
Trigger, can I ask you the question about do average women have unrealistic expectations, or why average women have unrealistic? I think that was the question you posed.
Please do. Please do.
So answer the question. Why do? I'm sorry.
You think man speaking, John the Baptist. Go ahead, Coco.
Oh well, John can go, but if you want, I can wait. Okay.
No, we make room for respectful women on the Trigger. Right.
Coco, congratulations, Coco. I'm going to come see you, okay?
Okay,
Stop
thank
That
simping,
was
Mike.
that what Trigger just did was a simp move, but we're not gonna say
Stop
nothing
simping,
else.
Mike. Stop simping,
Wait, wait,
man.
wait, wait, wait. Oh, wait. I just came up with this. I just came up with this. Did everybody see? Does everybody know the show Saved by the Bell? Has everyone
Yeah.
seen
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Screech Powers was a complete simp for Lisa Turtle throughout the entire series. That is an example. I believe we can all sit around a campfire and say that is an example of a simp.
He never got her either, right?
Before you guys, excuse me, before you guys go forward, can we say congratulations to Coco? She had a baby.
Oh, we
She
did.
just
Congratulations, Coco.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're waiting with bated breath, Coco, for you to say what you got.
I'll be brief because I do have a baby and she can scream any minute. But in terms of women having unrealistic, why do average women? I think what has happened is that the Disney princess narrative has been amplified by social media, and honestly, I think that a lot of women live in a fantasy world. They don't, or they want to, because reality is too hard. I have to take on everything myself. I'm taking everything myself. So I'm going to live in the fairy tale of, well, if everything is so hard, then the man that I want needs to be above my average. He needs to be something that I'm desiring and I'm aspiring to, because my average life is not what I want it to be. So in the man that I most likely will never have, that's why I'm having unrealistic expectations, because I live in a fantasy world that I've created, that I see through social media. So if it's on social media and it appears, because again, people cannot establish real from fake nowadays if they live their lives through social media, then I know it's not going to happen, but this is the fantasy world I want to. This is the delusion that I feel comfortable in. So I think that's the reason why average women have unrealistic expectations. It's not that they don't know their expectations are unrealistic, but I rather live in the fantasy and delusion than accept the reality of where I'm at.
What you said right now, Coco, is part of it. But I got to tell you, the biggest part of it is actually women keeping women single. There are women out there that wants to get married and that want to get married, right? But their girlfriends, their mothers that have never been married before, people around her that have never been married before is discouraging her or are discouraging her from actually getting married by telling her that guy ain't good enough for you. He doesn't make enough money than you do. But sometimes these girls actually want to go for that guy.
Oh yeah, that's their baby daddy. That's their baby daddy. Yeah.
Yeah, and most of them, that's their baby daddy. They want to go for that guy. They want to marry that guy. But the voices around her are telling her he's not good enough for you, because they themselves that are discouraging her don't want to be single while she's going to get married. Single women are very, very mean people. You got to know that.
You know what?
So
married women tell young women not to get married too. And
That's a growing trend.
Yeah, that is a growing trend. No, the ones that want to get out. The ones that want to get out.
Yeah.
Let me add to it.
So
I think we're adding a I think we're creating a book for this, and hopefully it'll break the delusion. So I've said it in a short before, and I think Sir Hale tried to he completed what I was saying, because I said women, especially single women, and their unrealistic expectations, it stems from their irresponsible behavior. So what they do is look for a man to supplement, but Sir Hale corrected me last night and said rescue them from themselves. They are so irresponsible, as we stated. I wasn't trying to disparage black women. I was stating the facts. You are number one in consumer spending. You're number one in consumer debt. You're number one in student loans not paid back. You're number one in all of these terrible categories, but you make the second least amount of money. And your decision-making is so bad that you can't think of starting at average, because you've already fake lived an above average lifestyle that's financed on debt. So the dude that gets with you has to be able to pay for that Mercedes that you got off the buy here, pay here lot, because you can't pay the maintenance of yourself. That is what's really going on here. He has to be able to finance your bad decision making. That apartment that you can't afford, that you out here going on dates for food or asking the sugar daddy to help you, can I get $600 to pay your rent? The dude that come get with you got to be able to handle all that plus his shit too. We really got to be real about it. All of this is eventually leading up to the fact that women are irresponsible and they need a man more responsible than them to handle their level of irresponsibility. What do y'all think? Go ahead, add to it.
Hey, Mike, would you say then that would be a good thing? I mean, if black women aren't getting married to black men and then black women are coming in with debt, wouldn't you want black women to opt out or black men to opt out of dating these women who have, an anchor? Would it not be?
I honestly do, Grant. That's an excellent question, because one of the things we have not touched on in our society, because I do hope black women in the chat, everybody that listens to me, I hope you do not think that I'm here saying that all black men deserve anything. Throughout history and in time, there's only been a certain group of marriageable men. The men that put themselves together in a way to qualify for women, to qualify to have their legacy continue. It's only ever been a small group of men. Those are the only men that should have access to your womb. That's it. Weren't men eat it, and it's not by class. There are men in every class group that show the work ethic, that go to work every day, that can build something for themselves. Therefore, they can take a woman and a child on. That is the way it's supposed to be. So you're absolutely right. If we acknowledge that not all men are marriage material, then we then have to acknowledge that all women aren't either. So you're absolutely right, Grant.
Trigger Mike, look at this. Look, do you know the reason why our ancestors created polygamy? They created polygamy because they know that more than half of the men population are always going to be useless in terms of marriage.
Yep.
And 80% of women are supposed to be able to get married. That's why they created polygamy, because less than half of the men always procreate. You see? So a lot of men so society has always known it to be like that more than half of the men will either be drunk, useless, or don't want to get married.
Yep.
Let me add something to this whole thing.
Go ahead. I waited.
Go ahead, John the Baptist. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So why do women have unrealistic standards? I can remember when I was about 12, my grandfather did asphalt work, and he did it the old fashioned way. He lost all his equipment because he didn't know how to pay his taxes. So by the time I came around, he had lost all his equipment, and he was doing stuff out of back of a pickup truck with a pick and a shovel and an axe and a hand roller. And as a 12-year-old, I remember making a statement that I went to work with my granddaddy one day, and I said, I can do what you can do. And so he took me to work. Well, and I went to him to work, and I actually thought I could do what he could do, so I started doing it. But and he just worked the crap out of me that day, and I realized I couldn't do what he can do. But over the next 4 to 5 years, guess what? I learned to do what he can do. By the time I was 17, 18 years old, I no longer had an unrealistic expectation I could do what my grandfather can do. He went to work, made all this money for the family, and me sitting at home thinking I could do what he can do. But when I began to do the job and learn the job, then I began to understand at 12, I knew nothing what I was talking about. It was unrealistic. Women think they can do, women have unrealistic expectations of men because they think they can do what men can do. So for now, they want to put what they think they can do on men. I'm done.
I thought polygamy, I think that polygamy, like when they came up with it, I also think that was catered to the realistic biology of men. I just think that to some degree, like we all had an understanding that men were not built for one woman or sexual desire for one woman. It was always going to be more than one, at least more than one. I think polygamy was never created because of men's sexual satisfaction. No, it wasn't. Polygamy was created because it was never good for a woman to be alone. Right. Two people have to cover a woman. Number one, her father.
Number two, her husband. She was never created for women to be alone. Women are supposed to marry at a rate of 98%.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is this: when men began to marry women, they discovered that certain men will either not married or be drunks or never be nothing. So for those women to marry, they had to pair those women to men that have the resource to take care of more than one woman. But at the same time, due to birth, infant mortality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they actually made it possible so that these women can create more child for the family of the man, which means his legacy to continue, because they didn't want his legacy to stop. But for those men that were useless, those were just part of the relationship. That is why in some cases, men will have many kids because maybe half of the men in the family are useless.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's why polygamy was created.
Right.
And also for labor. For labor.
Right.
But
So before we go down that rabbit hole, okay, a lot of stuff we talk about in this fishbowl or whatever echo chamber is we're trying to fit a round peg in these square holes, right? I mean, we all are made up of at least three things, right? Our biological urges, the culture that guide us, and the environment that's around us. And all of those things play a part in how we behave and what we expect from one another. And the one thing that's clear is out of kilter, right? And it's not a one size fits all. You know, polygamy or whatever that is, okay, yeah, it exists, but we live in the West, right? We live in the West, so there's certain kind of way we're going to live regardless of all of these things. And going back to the unrealistic standards of the woman, we can argue about it, but I clearly understand why Ebony K feels the way she does. It doesn't mean I accept it. I just think she's a part of the environment that made her that way. And she's not educated enough to understand that she's going down a path that has no real successful ending. You know, and there's a lot of women that way, too many women that way. But then there's a part for men to play in that too. But you know, it's hard for us to talk about both things because I don't want to absolve the women of their stupidity by blaming it on men. But you know, the fact is, we have our issues; they have their issues. We're all under this social engineering program that's been set up by the government to destroy us all. You know, in one way or the other, or destroy the family, I should say, and it's succeeding, right? And you know, so when you see an intelligent woman like Ebony K, she doesn't understand that she put herself in a position that she's not going to have a big pool of men to choose from, and for her to act like she doesn't understand that, it's really it's kind of sad.
Mr.
Right?
Penn, I got a question. Mr. Penn, please, I got a question for you. How old is Ebony K? How old is she?
40.
She's 40.
She's 40.
Okay, she's 40. What's her income?
She's rich. She's not
Okay.
wealthy. But she's rich.
You're talking about the lady on television, Ebony K?
Yeah.
No, forget that. No, she's damaged,
But
man.
that's the purpose of the show.
She's
man,
damaged.
That's the purpose of the game.
Yeah, that's right. No, she's unrepairable.
Mr. Payne.
But wait, but Brother Payne, go ahead, my bad, sister, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Payne, to your point, because I watch reality television and I know a little bit about Ebony's story, and I think her story will help with the solution for other women who may have come up the way that she came up. Ebony Williams didn't know who her father was. She grew up with a single mother. She was the only child. She was on the Real Housewives of New York show, and through that show, there was a journey to find out, you know, who her father was and if she had any siblings, because her mom recently passed and she was by herself. And so she eventually found her dad, but unfortunately her dad either her dad passed or she wasn't able to get in contact with him directly, but she found out she have siblings. Okay. And I think to the point that you were saying, women like Ebony K who do grow up to be successful, and I think Iyanla even spoke to that they grew up to be their own protectors and providers and very with masculine features, but it didn't benefit them because later in her life, and because of the echo chamber that she's in, to the point Trigger Mike said, you know, when you have family members that die and you're the only sibling and you're the one by yourself, then you start thinking more about relationships. And unfortunately, it is too late. But I think from her example, younger women who have the knowledge and the wisdom, because you're right, not everyone's going to be married, not everyone's going to be a mother, can see that and be like, you know what, I don't want to end up like that. So what do I need to do? Find community of people who are living in the lifestyle that you want. Speak to men and women to see the type of men that what characteristics in a man that are important for people who have sense, and then what characteristics of a woman, if you want to be a wife, that makes sense, and follow that. I think with Ebony, she grew up to be a lawyer, then she got into entertainment. And then when you're in those echo chambers that say, you're fine, girl, you don't need to change. It's these men that are the trash. These men are the problems. When you get later in life, is particularly when she's in her mid 40s and her 50s, and the circles become tighter, and she's not she's not the most desirable. That's when it's going to hit her. And hopefully she'll be able to sell young women, because I think what Iyanla did, I think it was the starting point of hearing, oh man, is it the end for me? Is it like, because Iyanla really dropped some knowledge on her that I don't think she has really had a pointed conversation about herself.
Coco.
Wait a minute. She's talking.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
Before Coco go ahead, excuse me, guys, just give me a minute. Before Coco go ahead, Coco, what you're saying right now would have made sense. But did you see her? Did you listen to her apology yesterday? Non-apology? No, apology, non-apology. That says a lot.
Wait a second. I brought this up. Let me just say my piece. I hear you, but just like I don't give men a pass who or athletes who've been around coaches in the high school year, been around coaches in the college, and go to the pros and be stupid, that means they weren't listening to the mentors they have. There's no way I can believe that Ebony K, whatever the hell name is, who went through all those things she went through, all the people she had to interface with, all those professionals, she didn't learn nothing about the nature of men and how women and men have to interact. I could give her grace, but I can't give her a
I'm not saying she didn't. I'm saying that
Coco, hold on. Can I get in? Coco, I want to ask you a question. Coco, I want to ask you a question.
All right,
I want to ask you a question, Coco. Coco, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you can educate me from a woman's perspective on this situation. I grew up in a single parent home. Didn't really know who my father was too as well, and so I grew up though. But one of the things I was growing up, I've always paid attention to my surroundings, and I wanted to create a family. I wanted to be a husband and a father. That's what I grew up. That's what I grew up thinking. Like I wanted to be a provider, husband, father. That was my mindset. And I know you're a woman. You can't speak for all women, but you probably have better insight than I would. Why do women who grew up in a similar situation grow up not thinking the same? Don't grow up looking at the world that way, rather than just I'm gonna go be successful and build my own alone.
I don't think I think women, particularly in this generation, grow up thinking of men as a novelty and not necessarily a necessity. So when I say novelty, it's like, I want the man to fit my picture, because ultimately I know men have the power position. Women are not ultimately competing with women in case of when it comes to achievement and money. Women are competing with men. Some women want to be in the position that men have historically had. So therefore, if you have that masculine mindset, you're going to look at a man, and I'm just making assumptions about Ebony K, as in, I want you to come in and fill in what I feel like you need to fit in my life. Because for her to say that the bus driver needs to own the bus, well, if the bus driver owns the bus, then you are going to have, successful men work a lot of hours. They don't have all the time. They're not going to be available to you like that. She sees these men, but I don't think she knows the true dynamic of what it means to be with these type of men in terms of a long-term relationship. So I think what happens is that you as a man in your masculine nature, you're looking to have a wife to be that protector and provider. Her as a woman growing up in a masculine frame or growing up with more masculine energies is looking at it the same way that you're doing, but not realizing she cannot because she is not a man. So I think that's what messes up women. Women are looking at men like they are men when they are not. And then when reality hits them, because they're able to earn the same as much as men, they're able to be in the same spaces as men,
Yeah.
but they're not seen in the power structure as a man. It's like, well, why not? Since I'm able to do almost everything that a man can do, why can't it?
Yeah.
And I think
So
that's the main issue.
Let me add to that. Let me
And
add to
also
that as
ego.
well.
do
I had a
women
question too.
do women really lack? Okay, go ahead.
Who was that?
No,
No,
John, you were
John.
asking something. I think you
Go
were
ahead,
asking
John.
something.
I was. Are you saying that objectivity can be lost? Is objectivity is lost in this situation?
Yeah, yes. This is what I think that happened. It's not that she didn't see how men in position are, but she wanted to be with ego. You wanted to be how you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Damn everything else, because I've been able to do things out. I've been able to
Idiot.
become a
Well,
lawyer
I
and go
would
to
not.
these
I would
schools. Then
not
why
say.
can't I have the man as well as the
Well, no,
education?
I would not say objectivity is lost because that's letting them off the hook.
I'm
That's letting them off
I'm
the hook.
asking I'm asking a
Yeah, I was
question. I'm
gonna
just
say.
asking.
Let me
I'm
just
just
say this. Do you know what when a detective is trying to solve a crime and a homicide? What is the first thing they look for? As
Black
if
person.
Clues.
they look
Clues.
for motive. You find the killer by saying who had the motive to do this. So when it works with let's say people who did not grow up with a father, just like you said, John, you ended up at a crossroads of sorts. And if you want to figure out what made someone go through one fork in the road or another, you have to look for the incentive. That's the way it works for people. Black women in general have followed there was a time where because it doesn't matter if you didn't, it doesn't just matter if you saw a good example. A bad example can also teach you a lot. So you went to that fork in the road and you followed the incentive to be single, to do it your own way, because you thought that would lead to you making the own rules and having a relationship on your terms. The reason why we have to say they did not lose all objectivity is because they've seen the example fail time and time and time again, but they wanted their shot. Women prefer possibility over probability. So they're just they follow the incentive to say, well, I don't have to answer to no nigga. I don't got to do all this shit. That was the incentive to go on. I get to be a boss bitch. That's why they're doing that and portraying that lifestyle out and showing those little pictures while they're on the airplane looking at the clouds. Like that shit is real life. That was the incentive to go ahead and trash the idea of a man being in charge and a man being in the life of your children because they thought they could do it themselves.
I had a question.
So the reason why the reason why I asked the question to Coco that way is because in the answer that she was given, it was her answer and her attempt to answer the question for someone else. She was almost stating that women can't see all the factors, and that's the reason why I asked the question about objectivity, because if a person is making decisions and without looking at all the factors, you're doomed to make a bad decision. I wasn't trying to give her a scapegoat. I was only listening to what Coco said, and what I gathered what Coco said was that Ebony didn't consider all of the factors, and that's what I'm trying to. That's
you want to know what else?
Go ahead.
You want to know what else is proof to what I just said? How can a woman find her way to the top of corporate America, but she can't find? How did a woman find out how to apply for college? How to do the hardest things in life that men do? How did she find and navigate her way through all of that? But you somehow
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Companionship.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You see
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
disagree. I don't disagree with that part of it is, but I just wanted the point I was making was, and your point is accurate too. But the thing is, they even when they get to the top of the corporate ladder, they still lack the ability to look around and see all the factors that involve their decision making. Because when they get to that corporate level, then they can't handle that part of it as well. I'm not gonna say they can't. Some can, some can't. I won't say make a broad sweeping brush statement, but a lot of women can't handle that pressure either because the demand is too great. So even that still goes to prove that they lack objectivity. Go ahead.
But also, a lot of women have given into the lie that they don't need to work for a relationship, that it should come naturally, that the way that the availability in their 20s should be the same throughout the rest of their life, and that they don't need to change or pivot or try in order to become married, in order to be a wife. It should just happen. And I think that's what's messed up a lot of women to thinking that they don't need to work.
And that's why at the first sign of
for a
trouble, they out.
relationship.
I gotta say this, right? Whenever a girl has that kind of mindset in her life, you only have one person to blame or two people: the people or the person that raised her. Because we cannot give pass to parent or parents. They are the responsibility why these kids are turning out the way they are. I'll tell you one thing.
Ekene, I disagree with that. Once you
let me finish.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish.
We're gonna have to table the disagreement because we got final thoughts. I got to get out of here. All right, Mr. Passport, Brother Charles. Quick final thoughts. What you got on it, man?
Well, as far as the women with these unrealistic expectations on what to do overall, I mean, if you can find a guy to pay that high price that you're holding on for yourself, hey, more power to you. But at what point in your life do you accept that these opportunities are not available to me? So let me be more realistic with my picking. And I always encourage men to get your passports, and I'll see you on the other side.
All right. Where you at currently?
Oh, I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, okay. You ain't even out of the country. Where you going?
I mean, I need to make the money.
Oh. Go ahead, chop that passport, bro, off your name until you get out of the country.
No. I never said I was going to leave the country. I mean, like I said, I've been in the U.S. majority of my life. I'm from Haiti, but I've been
driver's license, Charles. That's what we about to call your ass now. That's all you need to travel within the U.S. EBD. I can't believe this. EBD.
Let me keep it short. Yeah, so like with the unrealistic expectations, it's just that women need to come down to earth with it. They need to know the value of a man, and I think it's due to upbringing. I think Mr. Speaking is right about that, because if you have grown up in a household as a female and have never been around a man that is in a relationship with your mother, and you've never seen any roles, you've never had any protection, you've never had anyone to talk to about men or understanding of men, then who raises you and who teaches you about men besides your mother? It's going to be the television or movies. So these unrealistic expectations come from media, which shows us how a man kind of quote unquote acts according to scripts and screenplays. Instead of the men that she interacts with in real life, she's basing this man based on of a one-dimensional representation that is found nowhere in nature. So I think that's where it comes down to. They need to come back and start talking to us real men and stop watching television and social media.
Indeed. Ekene, final thoughts.
Okay. Back home, right? When even in a society with the right mind, when a child fails, you call out the parents, you shame the parents, and with that, parents tend to raise their kids right. But when parents are not shamed in the society, only kids are blamed. Guess what is going to happen? The parents will kick the blame down the road and put it on the kids. So what I'm trying to say is this: if you can teach your daughter and your son how to read, how to say ABCD, or read out 1, 2, 3, put them through kindergarten, through grades, all the way to university, you can as well know how to teach her how to be a wife, teach him how to be a husband, teach her how to cook, teach her how to serve a man, teach her how to be there for her family, teach a man how to treat a woman. So any kid that fails, the parent has to be blamed. If I fail, if my child start acting up tomorrow, I have to be blamed. You know why? Because I'm supposed to be teaching that child from childhood what to do and the consequences of not doing something. Because I got to tell you, the way I turned out today is because of what my parents did to me, the way they raised me, the ass whooping, the shaming. You see what I'm saying? Because all throughout my life till my dad passed away after my mom was to not shame my parents. So we have to know that parents cannot go scot-free. We as parents have to teach our children the right thing. If we're going to spend all that money to put them in college, we should also teach them how to cook. Because a lot of girls out there can't cook nothing. They just can't cook. They can't even wash plates. They think they have to compete in the kitchen with their husbands. And
can't wash a plate.
They can't even wash a plate at all. They want to compete in the kitchen with they want to tell their husband, you go wash the plate, I gotta wash the plate, you go wash the plate. You see what I'm saying? It's a problem. It's a problem that needs to be solved. We have to take the blame for that. I have aunties that don't even let their daughters, even I dated a girl that couldn't even boil rice at the age of 18. She couldn't boil rice. Do you know what kind of shame that is? She couldn't even cook rice. The easiest thing to cook on it. She couldn't even boil a rice.
Literally.
Water and rice. That's it. She didn't know how to do it.
1 cup to 1 cup.
And I asked her why. She's like, my mom didn't teach me how to do it, but your mom paid your tuition to through college, right? Yeah, she did.
All right. That's so funny. Coco, real quick. I gotta get out of here, y'all. Go ahead. Final thoughts.
Yeah. I'll be real quick. Speaking of food, I made my husband a delicious ribeye steak with baked potatoes and broccoli.
I'm on my way to your house right now. Our husband is my best friend, so I'm on my way to her house right now.
but what I will say to women is, at the end, because I'm always looking at solutions, at the end of your life, and your finals days, will those bags hug you? Is that trip going to be there? Is will the likes sustain you? No, it is about the relationships that you have that will matter the most. And if you haven't prioritized, particularly the most intimate relationship, which will be with your husband, then you need to do that now if there is still time left, because unfortunately for a lot of women there isn't time left. And if you are a marriage-minded woman, you need to start seeking people that you admire, that have good character, both men and women, to correct you in love, because that's the only way that we'll be able to get on path. And what I will say right now is, I'm on leave, but I feel extremely blessed to be married to a wonderful man, to have a son and a daughter, because that is the most important thing. Work is cool, but it's not the most important thing. And I think that's what we have to constantly remind people, and particularly for me speaking to women, of what really matters at the end.
All right. And somebody called you a pick-me in the chat. I'm not sure we call women pick-me's that have already been chosen. Just saying.
Well, what's wrong being picked? People want to be. You want to be the last one chosen in a game.
Better to be a pick-me than a pass-me. But we're gonna.
You want to be left behind? Be left behind. That's cool.
A pass-me is calling somebody pick-me.
Yeah.
I like that trigger, Mike. I like that. A pass-me.
Final thoughts.
Yeah. I think I think I said it earlier. I think Ebony has every right to choose her life and her mate. And I think given what we've talked about over the last couple of hours, I mean, in essence, she's probably not going to have more kids. And so, what's the issue of her really, sort of pairing up with someone? So she can have any number of decisions that she can make for her life. And I think any young person, coming up, I would just say make whatever decision you think works for you. And I think, Coco sort of laid out her arguments. I think all of us have a myriad of decisions to make for our own lives. If we believe that some men or some women are marriable and others aren't, I think you just need to decide for yourself who you are. I don't think you want to be someone. I think Mr. Charles said it earlier. You know, he went through a part of his life where he thought he had found a couple of women who he could marry, and he decided not to, or for whatever reasons. I think we should look inward to ourselves and decide what decisions have we made and why we landed where we are, versus looking outward at others and why they did things. And I think those are the things that I think we should take to heart. And I think that will make most of our lives a lot more meaningful.
Indeed. John the Baptist.
John, you there?
Go ahead, Mr. Rich. I gotta get.
Had to mute on. My bad. I want to make a couple points and I'll move real quick. And I'll make it real quick. Number one, stop validating women that you don't know. That's not disrespectful. It's just you don't know this person. You don't know people in general. Not saying they're not any good women. Not saying they're not any good men. But stop validating people who you don't know. Number two, men, stop fighting for the very thing that's destroying your power. Stop fighting and supporting things that are destroying you being leader of the leader of the home. Because when things go wrong, they're not going to blame the other people. They're going to blame you when it goes wrong. So stop empowering women and society that's going to later to blame you when the bottom falls out. That's it. I'm out.
All right, Mr.
Yeah,
Rich.
just real quick. You know, it's just Ebony K needs to understand that her life choices have consequences. And yeah, you could complain, but understand that's all you're doing is complaining about based on the choices you made. The other thing is that life doesn't owe you anything, right? You wanted to be where you are. Life doesn't owe you a good or great man. It just doesn't owe you that. And just understand that you're swimming in a pool with a whole bunch of fast moving fish, and they ain't going to be that easy to catch, if at all. So she needs to grow up. She needs to understand where she put herself in this life. And, you know, it's not the end of the world for her. Maybe there's somebody who she might find, but, you know, she needs to stop. She needs to get off the internet with that crap she's talking, because she's not making it any better for herself. And that's all I have to say.
All right, Camille, go ahead. You got the last word.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been really interesting to speak, and I listen most of the time. It's nice to see. Obviously, I can see there's a lot of married people as well. Nice to hear. I'm always open to learn. So yeah, it was really nice to hear and everyone's opinions. I think obviously with dating, I just think you should men and women should just try to understand each other's psychology and how it works. Because I think a lot of people already have opinions made, and I like to keep my views balanced and always learn. So I think people should be a bit more open always to learn at any age. Yeah, and coming back to the high value woman topic, you can check out our channel. Camille knows we discuss some red pill topics. There's one video we made. This 51-year-old high value woman, she couldn't find a man, eventually moved back to her parents' house, and she decided to adopt a child. So we discussed about this situation. Is it right? Is it wrong? So you can check out the channel. I'd be glad to join again, hopefully. My channel is with Henry, so I want him to come here and speak as well on some topics. But yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Always welcome. I want to thank everybody that came on the panel today. This was an awesome live. Thank y'all for coming through. All right, y'all. This was one for the record books. All right. Thank y'all. And we'll be back tomorrow. What is tonight? Wednesday. Just look out for any announcements. Make sure you subscribe to the Lapeef Network and join the channel if you can. Leave a like on this video before you leave the stream. Likes are free. Share this out to people that need to hear it. I felt like a lot of gems were dropped on this stream today. We appreciate y'all for coming through. Go to my YouTube channel. I do have shorts coming out at Trigger Mike Show. Type in youtube.com at Trigger Mike Show and go to my page and hit subscribe so you can see my shorts when they come out, which are usually the topics that I will present here on the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. Once again, I got 2 super chats. Let me read those. Charles Keys Sr. Remember, J-Lo is an average woman. Save yourself, black man. Pokeman, $5. Equally yoked is a bar. compete or deplete. I want to thank everybody that supported the show via Super Chat today. If you are watching after this stream is live, you can send a super thanks if you liked anything I said or anything anyone said on the panel. We appreciate you for your patronage. Every day y'all come through faithful, and I want to thank you for that. Please make sure you stay tuned to the Lapeef Network and everything we have in store. Tomorrow we got the big show. I'm out. Catch y'all later. Trigger Mike signing off.